Yes, the MMA leader has returned to Big D. This is an MMA craze region and a most fitting host city for one of the biggest pay-per-views of 2017. Live inside American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas, USA, this is UFC 211, Miocic versus Dos Santos 2. Closed captioning is available for tonight's telecast. Tonight's SAP is brought to you by UFCEspanol.com. Tonight's broadcast is available in 100% Spanish. As always, the pleasure is ours. Thank you for being with us. I'm John Anik. This is UFC 211, Miocic versus Dos Santos 2. So when these two heavyweights fought for the first time back in 2014, they produced an absolute classic. Both men left with the mutual respect only gained through combat. It was certainly the fight of the night, and fittingly tonight, as they run it back, the stakes have been raised to championship. My partners tonight, the legend Joe Rogan, UFC light heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier, title twin bill tonight in Big D. Doesn't get a whole lot better or bigger than this.
It doesn't get a whole lot better. I mean, this is what you would call a juicy card. There's a lot of goodness in this card, and I'm very excited about both the two main events, and also the two fights before that are fantastic as well. I mean, this is just a stacked evening.
I mean, from start to finish, this card is amazing. The baddest man on the planet gets determined tonight inside the octagon. We get to watch Joanna Jedrzejczyk inch her way closer to history and tie in and passing Ronda Rousey in terms of division championship defenses in the UFC's women's division. It's crazy night. I cannot wait.
It's one main event after the next here on pay-per-view tonight, but of course there can only be one headliner. It is the heavyweight championship and the rematch, Stipe Miocic, Jr. Dos Santos, and for the Croatian-American Miocic, all systems go since that first meeting with JDS.
Absolutely. As DC has said, he got the rub. He fought the former champion, Jr. Dos Santos, and he experienced what it's like to be in there with one of the elite of the elite. And I think he has gotten better because of that fight. He's gotten better every time you see him inside the octagon. He's a hard-working, blue-collar guy who still works at the fire department. And he is an animal inside the octagon and loves being the champion.
He loves being the champion, but Jr. Dos Santos also loved being the champion and would love to be the champ again. He has beaten Stipe Miocic. And how does a guy that's a longtime veteran like Jr. Dos Santos get better with time? The last fight against Ben Rothwell, he looked better than he has in a really long time. It was a masterclass in footwork, boxing, and movement. Jr. Dos Santos feels he can become a two-time UFC heavyweight champion tonight. Very rarefied air for JDS.
So the first one went 25 minutes. We'll see if a finished material is tonight in the main event. The co-headliner leads in. Joanna Jedrzejczyk remarkably going for a 5th consecutive title defense as she takes on the Brazilian challenger Jessica Andrade. And DC, this champion is something else, man.
Yeah, she's something else, man. You talk about a guy that's mean. How about a woman that's as mean as anybody on the entire roster? Joanna Jedrzejczyk enjoyed every second of battering Claudia Gadelha, of battering Carla Esparza, of battering every single woman she has fought. And she's only getting better. Now she's moved to Florida at the American Top Team, and she wants to dominate again tonight.
Jessica Andrade is a worthy challenger. She's physically strong. She's very durable. She's got great takedowns. She's got a good submission game. And I think coming down from 135 pounds, she feels like she has a big strength advantage. That will play a factor in this fight. Confidence and momentum, and she's coming off of a crazy fight with Angela Hill.
One of the more intense stare downs, as usual, when Jedrzejczyk is involved yesterday. What a night we have in store. So biggest night of the year to date. Just about ready for live action here on pay-per-view. So many great matchups coming your way tonight. Here's a quick look at the rest of the main card. Former lightweight champion and future UFC Hall of Famer Frankie Edgar still has visions of featherweight gold. Tonight, he'll look to turn back the challenge of the oncoming force that is Jair Rodriguez. With a decided step up in competition, the Mexican phenom is after the biggest win of his career. Also on tap, a title eliminator in the welterweight division. In what'll be his 25th UFC appearance, Brazilian grappling sensation Damian Maia looks to secure his 7th consecutive win. Tonight he draws the no-nonsense Floridian Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. Masvidal called for this shot against Maia, and with confidence high, Gamebred will try to state his case as the undisputed #1 welterweight contender. All right, coming up next, it'll be the first UFC pay-per-view showcase for a most deserving middleweight contender. Poland's Chris Jotko has won 5 straight to vault to number 9 in the world. Tonight, he is charged with welcoming back UFC veteran David Branch, who last fought the UFC more than 6 years ago. But 10 consecutive wins have earned the New Yorker Branch a second stint in the big show. And now to the rules of the Octagon. 3 judges score the bout. The bout duration is 3 5-minute rounds. For championship fights and all main events, we go 5 5-minute rounds. A 10-point must-scoring system is in effect. Round winner gets 10 points, his or her opponent 9 or fewer, and scoring is based on effective striking and grappling, followed by aggression, and then Octagon control in that order. And we also point out the changes to the unified rules of MMA for 2017 have not been adopted by the Texas State Athletic Commission, so those are not in play tonight. Some confusion, but the fighters have been made aware. All right, with that, we are ready to go with the main card. Great to have you with us for UFC 211 tonight on pay-per-view. No longer flying under the radar, Chris Jotko appears ready to break out tonight. He is charged with welcoming David Branch back to this absolutely loaded UFC middleweight division. 2 of the hottest middleweights in the world will put their winning streaks on the line tonight as David Branch returns to the Octagon to face Krzysztof Jotko. New York's Branch was on the UFC roster back in 2010 and 2011 and produced a pair of wins in the big show. But he really hit his stride over the last several years outside the UFC, going 12-1 while earning regional middleweight and light heavyweight titles. Now riding a 10-fight winning streak, Branch returns to take on Poland's Jotko. With 3 wins in 2016 over the likes of Brad Scott, Tamden McCrory, and Talish Latis, Jotko has vaulted into middleweight title contention. And tonight, the American top team rep seeks a 6th consecutive win at the returning Branch's expense. Coming up next, David Branch faces Krzysztof Jotko. Well, Joe, I know you got the chance to call a lot of David Branch's fights back in the day, and how do you not feel good for this guy? 35 years old, out of the UFC since 2011. This is an entirely different animal as he makes the return tonight.
Well, he's gotten a lot of experience outside the Octagon, and he's a very talented fighter in a lot of different areas. He's light on his feet, he's got very good hands. He's a black belt under Renzo Gracie, which is one of the most prestigious black belts in the world of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's just a very intelligent guy, very intelligent, high fight IQ as well. And, you know, that extra experience that he got outside the UFC earned him a second chance in, you know, a really wide open division at 185 pounds right now.
You know, Joe, when I look at David Branch, he looks more intense since he left and went and won some fights. He kind of looks scary with that beard. He said, my opponent's suspect, his record's suspect. He goes, I'm happy he's accomplished all he has so far, but I'm about to smash this dude. Now listen, this guy looked wide-eyed when he made his UFC debut. Maybe he wasn't ready. Now he feels he's ready. He's gone out and fought some of the best fighters in the world outside of the Octagon. Remember, when Anthony Johnson was out of the UFC, smashing and knocking everybody out, this guy went to decision with him at a catchweight as the smaller guy. I'm telling you, he looks meaner. I love his new haircut. I love his new demeanor. And he said he's going to smash Chris Jotko.
Well, I think he realizes how important it is to be in the big show. When you're there and you get close and then you find yourself on the outs and you get an opportunity to come back like he did, and also to come back after winning a ton of fights. He had a lot of in-cage experience outside of the UFC, which I think really matured him as a fighter.
And you mentioned the fight against Anthony Rumble Johnson back in 2012, and 13 fights for David Branch since he was last in the UFC. The only loss by decision to Rumble. As you heard, he won titles not just at 85, but at 205 pounds, defended both successfully, and he said, I am going to smash Chris Jotko in front of the world. We'll see if David Branch can do it. Very good with his movement, very fast. You mentioned the fight IQ. Also his brother, former junior middleweight boxing contender, Saku Powell. He moves well, just like his brother. Good to see David Branch back inside the Octagon. So the American Top Team parade continues as we get our 8th look at Chris Jotko. He comes in tonight having not lost in 3 years, trying to make it 6 consecutive wins for the 27-year-old bull here tonight.
Well, one thing that is interesting is the last time he did lose was by submission. And again, David Branch is an elite submission specialist. But Krzysztof Jotko shows a lot of potential. I mean, what you see from this young man is powerful kicks, excellent timing on his strikes, and we really saw that in the Tamden McCrory fight. I mean, he caught Tamden McCrory clean and took him out in the first round, and then won a 3-round unanimous decision over the very talented and experienced Talis Leite. So, you know, this is a man who's faced some tough competition regardless of what David Branch says.
You know, his coaches say that they feel he's a little bit overlooked. I don't know how you're overlooked when you're in the top 10 in your division, but they said it's okay because there's still work to be done. They don't want him rushed. They said, you know what, he's a top 10 guy, he's a sponge, he's learning every day. But we don't want him to have this massive hype, because when people have that massive hype, you find yourself in a Yair Rodriguez versus Frankie Edgar position. Now, if he wins the fight, it's all good. But there are times when prospects get pushed back because they go too fast. They're happy with the way that things are going for Jotko right now. Look, between these two guys, they have won 29 of their last 30 fights. You want to see high-level MMA, you're about to watch it right now.
Jotko 19-1. You see Pahumpa in his corner, his jiu-jitsu coach. The takedown defense of Jotko is held up. Figures to be tested here tonight. Maybe one of the top 10 or 15 hardest kickers I've ever seen. Joe Rogan's on that list as well, but Jotko, I'm telling you, if you don't know the name, you might by the end of tonight as he tries to get the biggest win of his career tonight, welcoming David Branch back to the UFC. All right, middleweights are ready to go. Here's your tail of the tape. Chris Jotko, still just 27. David Branch will be 36 in September. Both fighters 6'1" tall. Both weighed in at 185 pounds. Slight reach advantage of an inch for David Branch. And now, for the official introductions, we go inside the octagon to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from Dallas, Texas, for UFC 211. Miocic versus Dos Santos 2. And now, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding professional record, 20 wins, 3 losses. He stands 6'1" tall, weighing in at 185 pounds. Fighting out of Brooklyn, New York, David Branch. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding professional record, 19 wins, 1 loss. He stands 6'1" tall, weighing in at 185 pounds. Fighting out of Warnew, Poland, presenting the number 9 ranked middleweight contender in the world, Krzysztof Jotko! And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Don Turnage.
Don Turnage, our referee for this main card opener. Chrissy Blair, thank you very much. Ready to go on pay-per-view, and stay ready on Twitter tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have voting polls throughout the UFC 211 main card at UFC. All right, we are underway. Chris Jotko in the red trunks, out of the southpaw stance. David Branch, the orthodox fighter, is in white.
Krzysztof immediately showing good distance. Got that wide stance. He's a very well-schooled striker. You could see that immediately from his movement.
Really good at managing the range, making sure that David Branch doesn't get too comfortable. But you see Branch trying to, it's always funny watching the beginning of these fights as guys try to really set the tone of the fight and the pace at which we are going to fight. And right now you kind of see Jotko being a little more successful at that, having Branch on his back foot.
He's threatening. And if David Branch has watched tape on him, he knows that. And once you're in with him and you see his movements, you realize there's some danger.
And at least in his UFC career, Jotko has been very difficult to hit. Great striking defense. Early take, that's a good sign for Branch.
This is a very good sign for Branch. And Branch is elite on the ground. very, very strong submission game. And I would think that he wanted to go to it right away.
That takedown was timed beautifully.
He just cracked him with the left hand. There's an open guard here for Jocko. And Branch just softening him up with punches, controlling him on the ground.
Nice elbows.
Yeah. And Jocko putting that left leg, excuse me, that right leg on the left hip of Branch. Going to do a little bit better defensively with that. But really what he's got to do here is control the posture. He's not going to catch David Branch in a sloppy armbar. He's just not. When you get to catch him, you're going to earn it.
Yep, you put that foot on the hip to wait for an opportunity to push off and try to get back to your feet, especially when you feel as though you're the better striker in the fight.
And Branch is just completely controlling the top position. No threat whatsoever being swept or reversed. He's got a gigantic advantage in the grappling here. And what I would like to see him do, though, is immediately press and start trying to pass the guard. He's controlling him and holding him so well. Allowing him to get to the cage is a big mistake.
Big mistake. Guys use that cage so well to get back to their feet.
Yeah, but he's going to take his back from here. If Jocko's not careful, Branch is taking his back. And
Jocko needs to take his right arm and actually reach it back over David Branch's head so that his back is now against the fence again, which will give him a better opportunity to defend if and when David tries to go back down to secure another takedown.
Jocko defending right in his corner.
He's hit it.
He had a half Nelson on it.
And Jocko turned it around. See, Branch missed out on a gigantic opportunity there. Having him on the ground, he should have, in my opinion, he should have immediately tried to pass to a dominant position.
And advance a little bit more, yeah.
And move towards his submission game. His submission game is so solid.
But again,
Fight fans, check out the UFC store on your mobile device. Get your favorite fighter gear and more. Shop now. Receive 15% off during tonight's fight. Use code UFC211 and start saving today.
David Branch went old school Marco Ruas foot stomp on him.
David Branch is doing a good job with his head position and his underhook there. You see him with the left leg inside, the left underhook up, and his head is trying to stay lower than Jocko. Oh, there you go, takedown by Jocko.
Takedown, beautiful, look at that.
But I mean, is this the best position for him? No, he needs to break. But right here, he needs to find separation, huh?
Oh, nice knee to the body, but it looks like he's trying to make a point.
Yeah. Well, you make a point or you win the fight. What do you do? you give yourself the best opportunity to win the fight, and knowledge would say that Jocko is the better guy on the outside of range.
Well, he could also feel that David Branch is slowing down a little bit. Look, there was a low blow there. What happened? They're letting it go. He could feel that David Branch is maybe pacing himself a little, maybe there's some nerves involved. He hasn't been in the UFC in a long time.
Jocko is the owner of a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Pahumpa, but certainly not on Branch's level. But looks like Jocko's looking for some separation courtesy of the referee here.
Sometimes you don't have to be on someone's level just to avoid stuff.
Yes.
You're just purely on a defensive level.
The cage, you're breaking.
But Branch is so strong on the ground.
J.A., you said he's looking for some separation, but it's on him to actually get himself off the side of the octagon. He needs to lift this left underhook to try to turn and get his back towards the center to break space.
Branch trying to get that takedown. Beautiful transition to a knee there by Branch.
And right back where he wants Jocko, back against the fence.
Short time, Dave.
Double underhooks now for Dave Branch.
So a good look to end the first round here for the returning David Branch.
Couldn't have gone better if you're Team Branch.
What are you saying here?
Well, I could definitely go a little better.
What are you saying?
I mean, knock him out. But I'm saying if you're just coming back and you win the round against the top 10 guy in your division.
I'm asking you what we're saying.
But you're right. He could have stiffed him. He could knock him out. Or submit him.
Down.
Or submit him.
How you feel, champ? How you feel?
Good. Just keep him guessing, okay? Just keep him guessing.
Okay.
Keep him guessing, up and down. Hands and feet moving the whole time, okay? Keep them hands high. There's not a bit. Your kick's going to be coming, okay?
How you feel? Give me some deep breath. Give me some breath. Suck it up. Suck it up. One, come on. Come on. Two, come on. Three, all right? He ain't doing nothing, David. He's not doing nothing. He tried hard, all right? Okay. When you box,
Let's go. Second down. Let's go. Second down. Injustice 2, fight as your favorite DC heroes and villains in the ultimate super-powered showdown, available Tuesday on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. All right, round 2 here. You heard Leonard Wilson in the corner of David Branch. Jocko in red, Branch is in white. Jocko trying to feint his way into striking range.
You can see David Branch wants to let that right hand fly, but I don't know if it's something he's seen in tape, that if he gets over aggressive, you know, the counters and everything, but you can see he wants to let it fly, but he's very hesitant. Maybe it's the worry of that body kick from Jocko. As you said, John, he's one of the best kickers that we have in the UFC.
Jocko closes distance here.
Again, he actually is the guy that needs to be in space, but he's starting the engagements here in the clinch.
It is surprising. Beautiful spinning kick, the spinning back fist rather.
Looked like maybe Branch didn't absorb all of it. 1 minute gone by here, round 2.
Branch kicking low.
Brief pause in the action here to give Jocko a minute, or up to 5 if he needs him.
Accidental, so just watch it again, okay?
Is that the second time that's happened?
Well, Jocko need him the first time.
Right.
And now Branch just actually kicked him right in the cup.
Soft warning from the referee, and we're back underway.
Just excellent distance control by Jocko. He slides back with that wide stance. Look at that, just slips back.
Right out of the way of damage.
Yeah, but always in a position to come back.
Some people, when they're going defense, they're on defense with no ability to counter. These good high-level strikers back out just enough to where if you're close, you're in range for all of their offense, whereas you're off balance.
Oh, he clipped him there.
Just the 6th significant strike landed for Jocko. There's 7.
And you see, that's why David Branch isn't committing too much to the striking.
Yeah.
But this is good for him, though, as he traps Jocko towards the side. Now he can change levels. Even if he doesn't get a takedown, he puts himself in a position to actually get to that clinch.
Is it the Branch takedown game that's giving Jocko seemingly some pause to throw that left kick? Not as active with it tonight.
Well, the first time he did, right, John? Was that a kick or a knee? The first time he did throw a power shot to the body, he got taken down and got controlled, you know, so maybe that's making him hesitant.
2.5 minutes gone by here in this middle round.
David Branch worked long and hard to get back to the UFC, and he seems a bit hesitant to engage here. There it goes.
Overhand right there. Jocko did a fantastic job of getting back to his feet, but nice overhand right to a double by Branch.
Oh, he clipped him with the right hand on the break. Branch took a deep breath there and reset.
We talked about this earlier, Joe. You know, you get that takedown, you want some time on top. You know, a guy gets right back up, it's discouraging.
Jocko caught him with the left hand again.
Nice jab by Branch.
He's got a good one. Jocko quick with that left hand. He is now
starting to fight a little bit more at his pace. You know, he's being a little more active. And David Branch now goes to the clinch. And with 1.5 minutes, if Jocko allows himself to get stuck on the side of the octagon here, he could still lose this round.
Work off my cage. Work off my cage.
Well, Jocko again campaigning to the referee.
Break to the center.
You don't like it.
Why do that? I mean, the referee just got tricked. That's exactly what happened there. He's like, come on, he's not doing anything. Meanwhile, he's holding you there.
And he was there for 5 seconds.
5 seconds.
That referee is easily influenced.
I would start to play him a lot more.
You might question him. Yeah.
I'd always look at him in every situation. Hey, ref, you want to do something today?
You might want to question him anytime something's going. It's a little weird.
Starts to go sideways. You're about to get knocked out. Come on, ref.
You fighters, do you guys study referee tendencies in your coaches?
No.
Do you have certain referees you don't enjoy working under? Without saying any names?
Yeah, I'm not saying anything.
Whoa, wheel kick. Just barely missed.
Branch to the body lock, yep.
Beautiful.
Jocko with a nice whizzer to get back to his feet.
Nice, very nicely done.
You see the work that Jocko has done on his ground game, his get-ups. 20 seconds now to go in round 2. Advantage Branch, though, at least on paper, in terms of the significant strikes landed, 30-13 to this point.
Faked the knee
10
and
seconds,
came in
guys,
with a
come
punch.
on.
He just got a real good sense of distance.
But that's what he's going to have to do. Straight strikes at this point are not working on David Branch. He needs to mix it up.
Break.
10 minutes in the books.
Yeah.
8, 7,
a little bit uneventful.
6.
In a weird fight. It's a weird fight to
4,
judge. You know, first
3,
round we know David
2,
Branch could have possibly
1.
won that one.
Listen,
But this
that
one,
is
it was
a
close.
lot
You know, both
better.
had their moments.
The less time you spend
It's
with your
these
back
types of
against the
fights that are
cage,
dangerous.
the better you're going to light him up, okay? We won this round.
Time to try. Show some and then go for cross. Show some and go for second one. Okay? You're gonna get his distraction. Distract him and then push him. Distract him, go for knee. Distract him.
You got to let your hands go.
You gotta work them. You gotta work. Do what you do. Punches and bunches, baby. When you get a listen, we ain't come this far to lose no fights.
I know.
You hear what I'm saying? So you push him. This kid can't beat you.
I know.
All right. Now step up this pace. All right. He's trying to steal the fight. All right.
A million times. Let's go.
Come on.
DC, what's the mentality of a fighter in this situation? Somewhat uneventful at times, perhaps that's mutual respect, but if you're Chris Jotko right now, 19-1, I mean, your 5-fight winning streak here in the UFC is on the line. Got to be urgent, right?
You have to find a sense of urgency, John. You cannot allow for a fight like that that's so slow-paced to cost you, your record at this point. Especially all the momentum he's gained, cracking the top 10 and fighting a guy that's been out of the UFC for a while.
Branch corner calling for him to be more active once he assumes the clinch. Jotko one and done once again.
Great footwork by Jotko. There's a nice leg kick by Branch. Both guys seem a little bit more urgent coming into this third round.
But a lot of it, on the side of Jotko is feints. He's feinting, but not really throwing still. He's feinting, he's moving his head, he's showing phenomenal defense. But based on activity, David Branch has thrown 15, 20 punches so far, and I don't know if Jotko's thrown any. See?
Yeah, he's waiting too long.
Yeah, he's waiting too much. He's watching.
Jotko goes high. Branch doing a nice job getting that right arm up.
Kick to the body by Branch.
Jotko moved into the top 10 after a win over Talis Latis as an underdog last November in Brazil. But getting all he can handle from David Branch tonight. Under 4 minutes now to go to decide this one.
It's just in these types of fights where it's so close and the action's so slow, you really don't know who's winning. And then somebody's going to be very upset with the judging. But it's on the fighter to actually get going.
And as Jotko engages, his corner calls for him to disengage.
He doesn't seem to want to, actually. There are times when he has his back to the center and he's not backing out. He's like right here. All he has to do is unlock his hands and back out. But he stays in his position, engaging in his grappling. And this is David Branch's world. I mean, he can do this. He can stand in here and clinch. He can grapple. He's fine.
Exhausting clinch work here. Dallas crowd getting a little bit restless here tonight. They've been spoiled by the prelims.
Yeah, they really have.
A lot of times I will really get upset at. I'll get really upset at crowds, but I tend to agree with him on this one. This could be a fight with a little more action.
They're canceling each other out.
Branch stalking here.
It's like you said, David's such a good grappler, but he cannot hold Jotko down. And Jotko's such a good striker, but if he tries to strike, well, he gets taken down. So it's like they've canceled each other.
All right, now he's got him down. Let's see if David Branch shows a little bit more urgency. With a minute 40 to go, it's not a lot of time to work. He's going to have to pass guard very quickly if he wants to get something done. He's trying to soften him up again, but I would like to see him, honestly, just try to step over those legs.
Takedowns now. Branch 3.
Looking for choke.
Landed on 7
looking for choke. He's looking for Darce. Slide that right arm under the chin. keep a good eye on his hands. If his hand slips up and gets a hold of his, nothing now.
And Jocko's in on the
Jocko's going to take him now. Look at this. So in that position means Branch had a very brief opening to try to close something up. And now, you know, Branch going to have to hammer fist to the thigh.
Hey, this referee's a little quick on the trigger. I mean, this guy. This guy's like, I don't want to see you guys clinching at all.
He wants some action.
Less than a minute now to go.
Branch just led with the head.
In a round, though, in which not much has happened. A big takedown for Branch.
Krzysztof Jotko went with that knee and the right hand over the top.
That is the type of thing that he will need to do. Mixing up and varying those techniques.
This was in a lot of ways a very cautious fight. There's a good knee to the body.
Branch able to touch Jotko there once again. Waning seconds now.
And the only real advantage that we've seen is that...
he clicks up a touch.
Nice. I was going to say the only real advantage that we've seen is that David Branch has been able to take Jotko down. Jotko hasn't been able to take him down. But like on the feet, there has never been really established a real significant advantage for either fighter. What a tough fight to score.
Well, I know Jotko complains, but ultimately you try to neutralize a striker. The clinch is your friend, the fence is your friend. I mean, as you guys said, the onus is on Jotko, I think, to get off the fence. So, Jotko
but it was
and
a
Branch,
smart move, right? Because it worked. I mean, the complaining.
Well, at least once, 1 on 4 complaints,
he caught a knee. This was early in the fight. I mean, this is very early on. It looked good for David Branch. And here's another takedown for Branch. And there's definitely way more takedowns for Branch. There's a stiff jab. And there's a spinning back kick. Didn't really land very hard, but that was a very nice uppercut.
That was probably the best punch of the entire fight.
That replay was brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. So Chris Jotko came in 19-1, number 9 in the world at 185 pounds. David Branch 20-3, back in the UFC for the first time since 2011. Trying to make it 11 straight wins and potentially take Jotko's place in the middleweight top 10. Significant strikes, 46-25, advantage Branch. Total strikes, 94-51, advantage Branch. And of course the aforementioned 3 takedowns landed on 7 attempts. Jotko shot once, landed his takedown, but not the offensive explosion we have seen from Chris Jotko over his last 3 or 4 fights. Regardless, DC, I think we can agree, good to see David Branch back inside the octagon for the first time in a long time. Jotko came in slightly favored tonight at -155 against David Branch. The official decision brought to you by Metro PCS, who brings you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide 4G LTE network. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. Jeff Mullen scores the contest, 29-28, Branch. Saldi Amato scores it, 29-28, Jotko. And Aladdin Martinez scores the contest, 29-28, for the winner by split decision, David Branch.
David Branch is back, and he gets the win tonight. Congratulations to the Bronx native David Branch, your winner by split decision. While the celebs are out tonight, there is the former UFC welterweight champion Robbie Lawler has a date with Donald Cowboy Cerrone coming up this summer in Las Vegas. And there is Cowboy alongside longtime mixed martial arts supporter, A-lister Demi Lovato in the building tonight in Dallas, Texas for UFC 211. UFC 211, Miocic versus Dos Santos 2 is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Metro PCS, who brings you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide 4G LTE network. By Alien Covenant. From 20th Century Fox, director Ridley Scott returns to the Alien franchise with his most terrifying creation ever, Alien Covenant. Experience the fear in IMAX May 19th. And by Injustice 2. Fight as your favorite DC heroes and villains in the ultimate superpowered showdown. Available Tuesday on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The main event fighter arrivals are brought to you by Harley-Davidson. See your dealer today and learn to ride like some of your favorite UFC fighters with Harley-Davidson Riding Academy. Live your legend. And there is the consensus baddest man on the planet, the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion, Stipe Miocic. Since his first fight with Junior Dos Santos, it has been all systems go for Stipe. He has won 4 in a row, all of them by knockout. And tonight, Cleveland's finest goes for a second successful title defense. And of course, it comes against the last man to beat him, the former UFC heavyweight king, Junior Dos Santos. Sagano's been idle for the last year. He became a father for the first time in March. And tonight, long on motivation, JDS looks to become a 2-time heavyweight champion and cement his legacy as one of the best big men of all time. As you see this assembly of fine athletes, we are here today for the summer kickoff. We are now ready.
Firework. July 7th, Michael is going to oblige my wish to come in there and give me a war. So that's all I got to say right now. Once I get to fight, then I'll have more to say.
Listen, Justin, you had wars in World Series, but when you come over to the UFC, you won't have a war with me, man. So
It's going to be a march to deep water, baby, and you ain't not going to laugh. You're not swimming in this water.
Deep water, I don't need to swim. I do all my fighting on land, player.
I cleaned this division. I beat this girl already. You have 2 months to talk more, and it will be finished soon. Hey, don't worry about this.
I proved already. I beat you already.
Just talk. Keep talking.
I beat you already. I don't talk anything. I beat you already.
You almost was beaten in the 3rd round, so...
I'm a champion for a reason. I will show.
How I say keep talking.
What are you talking about?
2 months.
Shut up. What are you talking about? I beat you when I beat again.
I love it. Love doing the media. I love just being up here, you know. And I'm rocking this. It looks better than a mullet, so.
Just looks like some dork that got kicked out of Woodstock. I don't know why he's disrespecting my mullet. The champion of the world is sitting in front of me. She's got a mullet, so. Yeah, you know, he's a tough kid, but he's gonna get beat up, so it'll be fun.
He stands no chance. I actually give him respect for taking a fight, but I just hope he shows up because I know his mama got tickets, so.
Shut the up about, hey, don't talk about my mom. I'm gonna smack the out of you right now. Don't you ever talk about my mom.
Yeah, What's good?
I'm so happy to be back.
Hey, he just said he's back, right? But is he back? Doesn't he have 2 more months of suspension?
Yeah, exactly.
Is he back?
You better love those next 2 months, Daniel. You got 11 weeks to be the.
Are you back?
I'm back. He has the belt. He's not the champion.
John, who are you to say? Who are you to say who's the champion? You're some guy that doesn't even fight. You're damn near retired, son. You're barely coming back. How are you gonna tell somebody something? You're a retired man. Shut your ass up.
Let me just say something, man. You are so much more comfortable with trash talking now. You're so much better at it. You seem so calm now.
Drink it in, man. You saw me up there? Drink it in. Take it all in, this gorgeousness, this glorious domination. We had a hell of a time last night at that press conference. It was a party, Joe Rogan.
It seemed like you were having a party.
Not only me, but Michael Chiesa and Kevin Lee. My goodness, if you run over there, you better be ready to get punched. Chiesa should have shot a double leg. And then Amanda Nunes, oh my goodness, we had a time yesterday.
That second language trash talk, there's nothing like it.
Oh, there's nothing like it.
I'm not a big fan.
You don't like it, okay.
You almost got beaten in the 3rd round.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Best thing drinking.
All up in the middle of that noise yesterday.
You're so much better at this than you've ever been before. You're laughing, you're having fun, and you can see it frustrating John. You interrupt him every time he starts talking. He tries to come back. You don't give him a chance.
You've been gone for 2 years. This is my UFC.
All right, so of course that was the summer kickoff campaign. 10 live events, 6 countries. May 28th, Stockholm, Sweden. Leading up to July 29th, UFC 214 in Anaheim, California. At least 4 championship fights coming your way. All right, Joe, as we get ready for this next fight, we'll pull up the current top 10 at 145 pounds. Of course, no surprise to see Frankie Edgar hanging around at or near the top. Yair Rodriguez, though, looking to take his spot tonight.
Well, I believe that Anthony Pettis, although he ranks, is now going to move back up to lightweight.
Correct.
Listen, Yair Rodriguez is something special. He really is very unique in his approach. His kicks come from all sorts of different angles. He's wild. And on the ground, he scrambles like crazy. And he just has this look of a special fighter. Well, special fighters need special tests. And a guy who's a kicker, who throws wild tornado kicks and wheel kicks like Yair Rodriguez, his biggest nightmare is a dominant wrestler. A dominant wrestler who was the world champion 1 weight class up.
Right.
That's what you're dealing with Frankie Edgar, and that's what makes this fight so interesting.
Well, Yair Rodriguez seen by many to be MMA's next international superstar, but of course there are still obstacles, and there are few more daunting than former world champion Frankie Edgar.
Frankie Edgar versus Yair Rodriguez is a fight between an incredibly experienced former champion and Frankie Edgar.
10 seconds to go in the fight. That's it. Frankie Edgar gets the late finish.
And a young, dynamic challenger that has the air of greatness.
Down goes Penn. Rodriguez going in for the finish. That is it. Yair Rodriguez has done it.
He represents like the old school of MMA. I think I represent the new MMA style.
Oh, cartwheel kick.
Yair's undefeated in the UFC, but he has not fought anybody like me. This is going to be his biggest test of his life. Yair brings a different style, flashy, a lot of explosive movements, but to me, the most technical guy is going to win the fight.
He has all the technique and the experience, but I'm here for stop him and say, no, man, it's my turn.
Oh, round kick, he got him, it's it.
Frankie Edgar is right now one of the very best 145-pound fighters in the world. Yair Rodriguez is thought to be one of the very best 145-pound fighters in the world. And we have an opportunity to find out who is better. And that is a huge moment for Yair Rodriguez's very promising career, and a huge moment for Frankie Edgar to prove that he is one of the top dogs at 145 pounds.
He knows what it takes to be a champion. I'm gonna prove myself that I can beat one of the best guys in the world. And I think that's gonna put me in a good position on my ranking, on my way to be the champion of the world.
Onward and upward, you know? Get this win, get my hand raised, worry about the next fight, work towards that title.
So here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the 24-year-old Mexican phenom, Yair Rodriguez. 7th UFC fight. He is 6-0. He has won 9 in a row overall. And Joe Rogan, I got to think this is a daunting challenge for which to prepare. I mean, how do you prepare for everything that's coming your way over 15 minutes tonight?
Well, for both men, it's a daunting challenge, because for Yair Rodriguez, this is without a doubt going to be the toughest wrestler he's ever faced in his career.
Right.
And for Frankie Edgar, he's never fought a tornado before. And that's what Yair Rodriguez is. He's a guy who 360 roundhouse kicked BJ Penn in the face. I mean, that's all you need to know. I mean, Yair Rodriguez is unique and special. But what he does is kick. I mean, that's the big thing. He punches well, and he's very good on the ground as well. But when you're kicking a lot, a guy like Frankie Edgar is one of your worst nightmares. That's why this is such a fascinating matchup. We want to find out whether Yair can stuff the takedown, whether or not he can catch him while Frankie's coming at him. I mean, and whether or not he can get back up to his feet if Frankie does take him down. So we're going to learn a lot about the potential of Yair Rodriguez, and Yair's technique and his talent as a mixed martial arts fighter is going to be tested tonight in the most glorious way possible.
If you are a person that works for the UFC, the reception that he gets, it's perfect. Because they are reacting to this young man at 24 years old as if he's a superstar already. He said that he believes he can be bigger than Canelo Alvarez. And if you can get a Mexican-born star, a guy that catches on like this, it is a massive win for any promotion. You look around and the flags are everywhere. People are going crazy. Not only does this guy have the goods. Not only does he have the look, he also has all the ability in the world to back it up. This kid is starting to make it, and tonight he has an opportunity to have that star-making performance that will define him going forward.
This is an outstanding athlete. He's been in sports his whole life, and scary proposition for the rest of this division. He only found fighting at 17 years old. I know, Daniel, you saw him early on that first season of The Ultimate Fighter Latin America and really jumped out of that tough gym there early on.
Right away. Right away. You identify these guys when they walk in on day one. And Yair was the first guy like, hey, this dude has something. We don't know what it is. But the first time you spar, me and Cain Velasquez, he did all those crazy kicks in front of a 205-pound champion at the time and the heavyweight champion at the time. No reservations for Yair Rodriguez.
With his patented sprint to the octagon, here is the proud New Jersey native Frankie Edgar. His chief corner, Mark Henry, with him. Heavy hearts for Team Edgar this week. Nick Catone, UFC veteran, tragically losing his son, Nicholas Jr., at about 18 months old. And I know it was hard for Frankie. Nicholas Jr. was at his final workout, so they are fighting for the Catone family tonight. Really a huge part of their training camp, Nick and his wife, and just a sad story. Frankie Edgar with no shortage of motivation as he hits the inspection zone tonight.
That's a terrible story. And absolutely my feelings go out to him right now. Nick Catone's a great guy. It's horrible to hear that the Catone family suffered that. That said, Frankie Edgar is a relentless man. And what makes this fight so interesting is this massive amount of championship experience he has. He was the champion beating BJ Penn not once but twice, and then beat him recently in an absolute drubbing. You're talking about a guy who was in some of the most incredible wars I've ever seen inside the octagon with Gray Maynard, that tested his resolve and will in a way that it's so rare to see. Frankie Edgar is one of the toughest guys that has ever competed in MMA. One of the most mentally strong, one of the most focused, determined. His endurance is off the charts. His pace is incredible, and that is what makes this fight so interesting tonight.
And you can't compete with his experience. He's gone 25 minutes 8 times inside that octagon. So the wait is over for this fight that Yair Rodriguez asked for, by the way, to try to propel his career. Frankie Edgar still going strong. He'll be 36 in October. Yair Rodriguez will be 25 in October as well. Yair Rodriguez 5 inches taller, and he will have a 3-inch advantage against the former UFC lightweight champion, Frankie Edgar. All right, now for the official introductions. Back inside the octagon to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a freestyle fighter holding a professional record, 11 wins, 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing in at 146 pounds. Fighting out of Chicago, Illinois, by way of Parral, Chihuahua, Mexico, presenting the tough Latham Season 1 winner and the number 7 ranked featherweight contender in the world, Yair El Pantera Rodriguez! And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a freestyle fighter holding a professional record, 20 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 145 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Toms River, New Jersey, presenting the former UFC lightweight champion and the number 2 ranked featherweight contender in the world, Frankie the Answer Edgar! And with the action begins, our referee in charge, Chris Reed.
Chris Reed draws the assignment. The beautiful Brittany Palmer is with us. Glad you are too on pay-per-view. UFC 211 continues now. Frankie Edgar and Yair Rodriguez. Injustice 2. Fight is your favorite DC heroes and villains in the ultimate super-powered showdown. Available Tuesday on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Rodriguez in green, Frankie Edgar's in black. Lands the right hand early.
This is the most experienced guy Yair Rodriguez has been in there with. still at the top of his game. This will test him. But every prospect has the fight where he has to prove himself a real contender. This is it for Yair.
Unquestionably. And because of their styles, it's what makes it so interesting, because he has such a kicking-based style and Frankie has such a wrestling-based style. But Yair is getting those kicks off, and as you said when you talked about him training with Cain Velasquez, he just throws them. He doesn't worry about whether or not he's going to get taken down.
You see Frankie instantly put him on his back foot, though. Yair landed an elbow right in that little exchange, a back elbow as Frankie was starting to clinch him.
And so far, he's stuffing the takedown of Frankie Edgar.
Now Frankie's about to lock his hands here, though.
Rodriguez's wrestling coach, Tony Martin. Big part of the game plan tonight defensively to stuff these shots from Frankie.
Got to be careful of the guillotine. Got to be careful of the guillotine.
On that high crotch. Long as he doesn't fall in his guard. Okay. Now, you got to be very careful here if you're under Frankie Edgar, because you can get wiped out, as we saw in the Cub Swanson fight, where he just wiped him out by just dominating him over an extended period of time and eventually getting finished.
Yeah, he just smothers you. He's relentless with his ground and pound. But Yair Rodriguez is a mad scrambler when he's on the bottom. Let's see if he can get off some of those scrambles here with a pressure fighter like Frankie Edgar on top of him. Frankie stepping over that left leg of Yair Rodriguez, trying to at least, and Yair moves it back to full guard. Hammer fist from the bottom.
You see Yair from the bottom doing a really good job of trying to control Frankie's posture. That's why he's reaching up and grabbing his head. Because every time Frank gets posture, he's landing good ground and pound. There you go.
Oh, solid shot by Frankie Edgar.
He has to control his posture on the bottom. This is not the level of guy where you're just randomly, throwing up submissions. You got to control posture and try to get back to your feet if you are Yair Rodriguez.
Well, Yair had to have known he could have been in this position, so I want to see what kind of offensive guard he possesses and what he's going to do to mitigate the onslaught that Frankie Edgar puts on you when he gets on top of you.
Right, fewer, busier in top position than Frankie Edgar.
You got to be careful of that right arm. Don't put that right arm down on the ground.
That is problem number one for most wrestlers. We place our hands on each side of our opponents, and sometimes that's how the guys throw up submissions.
And like you saw in the Chad Skelly-Jason Knight fight, if the guy has a good guard, that can be a real big problem.
He is getting beat up right now by Frankie Edgar.
Frankie all over him here.
And Joe, this doesn't stop.
Nope.
If Frankie Edgar can continue to put you in this position, this onslaught does not stop, John.
Well, he could do it for a week.
Well, and for 15 minutes, right? He's so used to going 25. Forget about it.
He's covering his mouth now, too. Covering his mouth and punching him. And by disrupting his breathing and covering his mouth, he also makes him try to remove that hand off the mouth. So his movement is predictable in that sense. And it also, it limits his defense.
And already in nearly 4 minutes, Yair Rodriguez experiencing more adversity in this fight than he has in his entire UFC career combined to this point.
And this is what we wanted to see. What we wanted to see is a real veteran, a super solid wrestler going after this young, wild kicker, and to see whether or not he could stop this and whether or not he could survive this. I mean, he's getting beat up here, but he's still in the game, and let's see whether or not he's able to recover, or whether Frankie's able to just keep putting it on him until he wilts.
And it changes everything, Joe, because now his offensive guard is not offensive anymore. It stopped getting beat up.
Yep.
It's no more, let me look for my offense. It's how do I stop him from beating me up?
Yeah, he's getting lit up here.
He is getting lit up. His face already has a big old cut on the side.
Yep. And he's getting trapped. He's got his head trapped up against the cage, and Frankie just has massive pressure on him. He's got him stacked up. And Yair's gone totally defensive now.
And there's a cut he's dealing with now.
Because he's getting beat up from the top.
Some swelling and a cut underneath that left eye. Frankie Edgar in his 22nd UFC fight at his relentless best, a dominant first round against Yair Rodriguez. Wow, look at that eye.
Wow.
You hardly recognize Yair Rodriguez.
Wow.
Gotta consider a 10-8 there potentially, DC. There's
the big takedown here, and this is where it all started. Frankie Edgar gets on top and stays on top and just beats down Yair Rodriguez. Yair Rodriguez's eye is almost completely shut.
¿Estás aquí? Vamos, cabrón. Hey.
Let's go, come on. Come on.
1-2,
1-2 and move. There's a war, you're in a war now. You gotta go 1-2. Create some space and stand up. Get the wizard and get up. Yeah, we know he's got pressure. We knew that was gonna happen, so create some space and some angles.
Why didn't they put Enswell on that eye? That is crazy. And that eye is almost swollen shut, and they didn't touch it with the Enswell. It's crazy.
So the cut man choosing to spend the entire round dealing with a cut instead of working on that swelling.
Well, the cut's most certainly important. I mean, both things are important, but man, that left eye is almost gone. He's not going to be able to see right hands, right high kicks.
And this won't stop from Frankie Edgar. This pace and this pressure will continue. And as a smart man in Frankie Edgar, he will try to get another takedown early in this round.
Yeah, and Yair is poised to spin. You keep seeing him twitching and loading his hips. I mean, he's going to try to look for a big shot. So there it is. And Frankie's got to look for that. He's got to look for that, and there's the big takedown attempt, and he's got him up. Oh, takedown defense by Yair.
Yeah, but
beautiful.
But look at Frankie Edgar.
Look out for his leg. Look out for his leg. He's in trouble. Frankie's in trouble.
Yair's attacking knee bar.
Frankie's got to make sure that that left leg stays laced over his right foot to defend that leg. If it doesn't, he's going to have to spin and scramble out of there. He's almost out. Almost out here. He's got the hands, controlling the hands. He's got to pull the hips back, and for Yair, got to get deeper on that leg.
Look at the patience of Frankie Edgar in this position.
Well, Yair, what he wants to do is get into a heel hook position here. He's rolling over. Now he's going to straighten it out to a knee bar. This is good. This is good for Yair.
Yep.
This is very good. Frankie's got to pop his hips back. He's got to control those arms. Once he's got those arms controlled, he's got to pull that leg back. Or get to a position where he can punch Yair in his face.
He's trying to get his left knee up, so he can start the crossface.
Oh, he just hit him with a nice elbow. He hit him with a nice elbow on that really damaged eye. Now he's punching him, and Yair's going to let it go now.
He's
got to. Yeah.
Because now it has to go to defense.
Yeah, he's getting beat up now. And now Frankie's going to be on top of him. Yep, he's got head and arm control.
And Joe, that's the danger.
Full mounts.
Joe, that's the danger in rolling for the knee bar, you know? But what's good to see from Yair Rodriguez is knowing he's behind, going for something.
Yeah, he took a chance.
But now he finds himself in this position because of it.
So the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Frankie Edgar's submission defense holds up, and now he continues to pressure Rodriguez. Less than 3 minutes here to go, round 2.
Yeah, he handled that perfectly with great patience and positioning, but Yair Rodriguez still super dangerous off of his back. But Frankie, relentless. He's going to step over that left leg.
It's that pressure, man. That pressure's intense.
Yep, it is.
Looks like that left eye is now completely shut for Yair Rodriguez.
Oh, and he's smashing it too.
Yes, and he's hitting him on that spot, right on it.
And it's so swollen and so damaged.
So thus far, a rude welcome to the top 3 for Rodriguez.
And Frankie's just targeting it.
If you're Yair Rodriguez, you have got to open that guard and start to get those feet on the hips or something to try to change his position, because this position's getting him beat up.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to win from strikes here from the bottom, the way he's doing this.
And you can't stall with Frankie Edgar, some of the best top control in the game, and stays as busy as anyone, loads up on that strike.
Yeah, he's just, these strikes in the bottom are flailing. They're very ineffective.
If you remember the Charles Rosa fight, it was the only time we saw Yair on his back for an extended period of time, but obviously Charles Rosa does not have the ground and top control of a Frankie Edgar and a ability to get the damage off that Frankie's getting on Yair Rodriguez right now.
That eye is horrific.
Just over a minute to go here. All Frankie Edgar thus far. Perhaps a 10-8 in round 1, and could be working on another here, DC, in round 2.
He's wiping him out. I mean, just like you said, Frankie has the ability to just wipe people out if they don't match up well against him. And he's doing it to Yair Rodriguez right now. Yair needs to open up the guard. He's got to find a way to change his position. Get up to his feet, do something.
Oh. Oh.
He is beating him up.
Yeah, I mean, this is like Cub Swanson 2. Which is another fight where Frankie just got on top and just beat the snot out of his opponent. I mean, that's what he does, and he doesn't get tired doing it either. He's relentless, and he drains you of your life. What's going on here? Yair throwing those legs up. I mean, constantly being active off the bottom.
Like John said, though, man, Frankie can do this all day. You know, this is a 15-minute fight.
He's got him stacked here. He's got to be careful as he has him stacked here, though. He doesn't get trapped into a triangle. Oh, he's gonna spin over. Full domination this round.
Yeah.
And Frankie, you know, has to know that Yair is going back to his corner, severely damaged, and really can't see at all out of that left eye now. That left eye is completely shut. They got to jump on that thing with the Enslow. He's got the Enslow in his hand.
Siéntate, güey, siéntate. Respira, güey.
He's got it right there.
Respira hondo, güey.
And he's got to try to press that down.
Déjame ver tu ojo, güey.
Let me see your eye.
Can you open it? Oh, no. Hey, that.
Looking at that eye.
We need to find out if he's got any vision in the left eye. So, give us a second to do that.
Stay aggressive. I think you're going to stop the fight.
Yep. It's a big moment. Does Yair say, I can see?
Well, they're going to hold up.
Yes, I can see.
So they're still fighting him. They're still fighting Rodriguez.
Stopping the fight. Stopping the fight.
Yes. They stopped the fight, but Yair Rodriguez saying, I can see when they gave him an out is a big deal for a young guy like that.
Yes, it is. It shows where his mind's at. But we got our questions answered tonight. Frankie Edgar is still one of the best.
He's real cocky.
Hold on, something's happening here.
Gotta stand up to him.
Something's happening here.
Mark Henry is livid because the referee called the fight. Edgar not happy either, obviously, visibly. Now it looks like they're chatting. Okay. So, all right, the fight is over. Frankie Edgar.
There was some confusion.
Oh, yeah, we called it. Yeah, we called it, brother.
There was some confusion. Frankie thought the fight wasn't called. I don't think Yair is totally aware. And now they know.
So, Mark Henry ran over there.
Yeah.
So how about Frankie Edgar adding to his future Hall of Fame legacy tonight?
Well, when you see two guys match up and you see two styles match up, you got to wonder which style is going to prevail. What we saw is the classic style of the wrestler being able to take down the kicker and dominate him and smash him.
This fight replay is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you, Joe. All Frankie Edgar tonight.
Yeah, well, once Frankie Edgar got the takedown in the first round, got on top, and started doing damage, he slowly sucked the life out of Yair Rodriguez. Started beating him up, increased the pace of beating him up, completely smashed that eye. I mean, it was the Frankie Edgar show. This is Frankie Edgar showing what he does best, highlighting his skill set with a very game and a very talented opponent. And here's where the ref called it.
So the referee calls the fight. Frankie raises his hands. And then it looked like maybe they thought about continuing the fight, but all Frankie Edgar tonight. Count this man out at your own peril. Came in number 2 in the world at featherweight. Ends the 9-fight winning streak for Yair Rodriguez.
NJ, baby, TR all day.
The official decision is brought to you by Metro PCS, who brings you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide 4G LTE network. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of round number 2, on the doctor's advice, referee Chris Reed has called an end to this contest, declaring the winner by TKO, Frankie the Answer Edgar.
I'm here with the winner, Frankie Edgar. Frankie, that was a classic Frankie Edgar performance. You fought a very dangerous and a very talented young man who just did not have an answer for the answer.
TR, NJ, all fucking day. I want to cut a promo. I love you, Texas. I want to cut a promo. I want to thank my coaches, but I sent a heartfelt message out to my teammate, Nick Catone, his wife, Marjorie. They woke up on Thursday and their infant son, little Nicholas, passed away in the night. And just goes to show none of this means shit, man. I want to go home and hug my kids. I can't imagine what he's going through, and that one's for you.
Yeah, our thoughts and prayers go out to Nick now. Let's take a moment now and let's talk about this fight. You fought a kid who has all of the qualities that you look for in a future champion. He just did not have the answer for your wrestling style, and that is what you thought coming into this fight.
Just levels to this game. And, you know, before the fight, I said no matter what happens, Jair is going to be a superstar. Just not yet, you know. Sometimes you need loss like that to make it to the next level, and he's going to be all right.
Well, this is a fight that reestablished you. Well, you were already established, but this really reestablished you as one of the elite in the 145-pound division. Now, you know that Jose Aldo and Max Holloway are meeting for the undisputed title. Give us your thoughts on that matchup, and you most certainly are in line for another shot.
It's a great matchup. I'm going to be in the building for my teammate Marlon Moraes. You know, I want the winner. You know, I don't know. They want to hook me and Aldo up a third time, but if that's the case, that's what I want. If not, let's go, Holloway. You know what I mean?
Congratulations on a spectacular performance. Frankie Edgar, ladies and gentlemen.
That man is as beloved as any fighter on this UFC roster in all class, shouting out the Catone family. Another seminal moment in the Hall of Fame career of the former champion, Frankie Edgar. Tonight's Champions in the Crowd is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you.
That's the GOAT, baby.
Right there, UFC flyweight champ Demetrius Johnson, the UFC women's bantamweight champ Amanda Nunes with her girlfriend Nina Ansaroff, who is a UFC strawweight. Another champion, three-time Super Bowl champ, number 88 in your program, Michael Irvin, in the building tonight in Dallas,
Look at him.
Texas. All right, coming up next, the hits keep on coming. Two of the best welterweights in the world. 7 years ago, Damian Maia fought Anderson Silva for the middleweight belt. So now, with 6 straight wins, the jiu-jitsu ace on the cusp of a title shot in a second division. If he can get past the man that is Jorge Gamebred Masvidal, 44th professional fight for Gamebred, also in the best form of his career. He called his shot against Maia. We'll see if Masvidal can produce on the biggest stage of his professional life. John Anik, Joe Rogan, Daniel Cormier here, Octagon Side. So guys, the UFC Hall of Fame class of 2017, of course, going to be inducted this summer. Special Thursday night affair. And joining Uriah Faber and Maurice Smith in the class of 2017, we're happy to announce will be our outgoing matchmaker, Joe Silva. Joe, few men in the history of this sport have made as significant a contribution as our friend Joe Silva.
Yeah, I miss him. I want him to get back to work. I don't like the fact that he's going in the Hall of Fame. That means he's not here anymore. I mean, he's a brilliant matchmaker and a guy who really, truly loves and cares about the sport of MMA and knows about as much about it and the fighters outside of this organization, other organizations, as any human being that's alive on the planet Earth. He was a tremendous fan, and still is, a tremendous fan of the sport, and that's what made him so good at his job.
You know, nobody knew about matchmakers before you knew about Joe Silva. Nobody paid attention to the guy that actually made the fights. But I know what Joe went through dealing with us, because we aren't pleasant when we call him. So there is no Hall of Fame without a guy like Joe Silva. So very well deserved. Joe, we miss you, but congratulations on the honor. That man did not have an easy job, especially after Strike Forces purchase, WC, all that. There were 500 of us, and he was responsible for it. Sean Shelby's 10 years old already.
Well, congratulations to Joe Silva on, of course, the Hall of Fame career, on his retirement. For so many years, this man was the lifeblood of this business. Of course, the show must go on. Joe Silva, we will see you hopefully for your induction ceremony on Thursday, July 6th. And it's all part of International Fight Week 2017. Joe Rogan will be there. See it, feel it, live it. July 5th through the 8th in Las Vegas. International Fight Week, where fans and fighters become one. All right, so now as we get ready to go here with this Masvidal Maia madness, your top 10 at 170 pounds. And Joe, by virtue of what was a dominant win over Donald Cowboy Cerrone earlier this year, Gamebred has set himself up for this fight against Damian Maia.
Absolutely. I mean, Jorge Masvidal is one of the very best fighters in the world, period. He's outstanding. He's got great striking, great takedown defense, underrated grappling. He's extremely experienced, not just in MMA, but you got to remember, this is a dude who used to do his backyard street fights with Kimbo Slice. Right? You can watch him on YouTube. I mean, he's a real fighter and a guy who's been a real fighter for a long time. He's very polished, very calm, very slick, and very smart.
Welterweight contenders Maia and Masvidal, they have certainly paid their dues, and now they hope a win in this head-to-head matchup tonight will be the one that propels them to that elusive world title fight.
At 170 pounds, there's a long list of very, very talented contenders. At the very top of that list are Jorge Masvidal and Demian Maia. Demian Maia has been at the top of the heap for a long time now and has been patiently awaiting his title shot.
Takedown successful. This is bad.
This is where he finished Matt Brown.
Demian Maia chokes out on it.
Right now, this 6 in a row, I'm just so happy.
Everybody knows that, you know, I was supposed to fight for the title. UFC asked me to fight this fight. They said me that I need to keep active to get a title fight. So I said, okay, let's fight.
If I'm Demian Maia, I'm like, this sucks, man. You know, they gave me the axe. I'm the guy that the UFC calls when they no longer like somebody. I'm definitely not stealing the title shot. I'm just completely taking it from him.
He's a striker, and I'm a grappler. I need to take him down and get in a good position and get a choke or armbar or a footlock, wherever.
This is a bad fight for Maia because Maia can't fight. Maia can grapple. I possess the tools to stop him in the grappling department and then do as I please on the feet.
I can win this fight standing up. If you underestimate your opponent, you're gonna pay the price.
I'm gonna show the world how great I am against Demian because that's one of the best grapplers in the world. I just defeated one of the best strikers in the whole world in Donald Cerrone at 170 pounds.
Cerrone in a world of trouble here. Masvidal working the body, and that is it. Masvidal with a career-defining win in Denver.
If you like violence, if you want to see somebody get hurt, then you watch me fight because that's all I am is violence.
Well, if you have a son, you can do worse than naming him Gamebred. I'm not sure there's a more appropriate nickname for any fighter on the roster. Here he is, number 5 now in the world, 44th professional fight for Jorge Gamebred Masvidal.
Yeah, he is one of the most overlooked but most talented guys in the UFC. And I think that the coming out party, the real big one was the Donald Cerrone KO. Because it was in Donald's hometown, and it was a big, big win for Jorge Masvidal, and a really definitive victory. Jorge is he's a great combination of all those things. He's a great striker, he's a great grappler, he transitions well between them, and he's just got a great fighter's mindset. He's an incredibly strong-willed individual, and he understands that this is his time. This is a huge opportunity for a guy that feels that he's been overlooked. Also an important point is that he's moving up from 155 to 170, and that's where he's having his big success. Demian Maia is coming down. Originally 185, now 170, so one is a huge 170. The other one is a guy who's just a little bit too big for 155.
I think that's a salient point, DC. I mean, Maia should have the strength advantage here tonight, but Masvidal, you know the man, he takes on all comers.
Yeah, he takes on all comers, but how about Jorge Masvidal showing up at the press conference in all black with the gold accessories, then straight out of Miami to the Scarface Steve. This dude is embracing the bad guy. He's like, love me, hate me, watch me perform. He said the UFC wants him to take care of the riffraff. They don't want Maia anywhere around the title, so they matched him up with Jorge Gamebred. Masvidal's a guy that just loves to fight, man. I love the way that he is approaching the game lately. You can see it in his confidence, the way that he talks, the way that he walks. He is 100% sure that this is his time. Sometimes it takes people time. He believes right now is his chance and his time to be the best in the UFC.
And when it comes to his striking game for years, guys, everything is worked off the jab. But, Joe, we have seen an increase in the aggression from Masvidal the last several fights.
And you also have seen an increase in his confidence, and I think that's a big factor as well. And the momentum that he has, he realizes that now is his time to shine. That said, he's taking on, in my opinion, the greatest Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner to ever compete in mixed martial arts. It's between him and maybe Jacare Souza. You know, in terms of like performances in actual Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This is a multiple-time world champion. I mean, just an unbelievable pressure passer, a guy who has such rock-solid Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu technique that you watch him take apart guys like Carlos Condit, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt on the ground. A guy who's really good at the game, like Matt Brown, just strangles him, gets a hold of him, and squeezes the life out of him in a way that you can't imagine someone doing. He treats black belts like they're white belts.
You know, Damian Maia is a guy that, as fast as it can go sideways against Jorge Masvidal, when stuff starts to go south against Damian Maia, it goes really south.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you're choked out. For years, people were so mad at John Fitch. Like, oh, he keeps taking him down. Maia, John Fitch. And that would have hit him on the ground. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Carlos Condit lasted 8 minutes with Damian Maia. When he choked out Rick Story, it looked like he squeezed blood from his nose.
Yeah.
It was so tight. He won't rush anything. He'll take you back. He'll make you work. And the moment something presents itself, it's over. This guy right here, man, is at the peak of his career, and he's 38 years old.
39. And he's one of the last real specialists.
Yes.
You're not talking about a guy who's going to throw wheel kicks. What he's going to do is get the clinch, drag you to the ground. He doesn't even really want to punch you. He's only punched you to open up choke.
Sometimes he just shoots.
Yeah.
It's not the best shots. Hey, Royce Gracie used to just shoot. And when he would get him down, he would submit him. And Damian Maia still does that today.
And defensively, he has absorbed 13 significant strikes in his last 39 minutes combined inside the octagon.
That's insane.
Masvidal certainly a guy
insane.
that can change that math a little bit tonight. But Damian Maia trying to make it 7 straight wins and realize his second UFC title fight. What a fight here tonight. Welterweight title eliminated. And we are just about ready to go with that backdrop. Here's your tail of the tape. Damian Maia will be 40 in November. Jorge Masvidal is 32. Maia 2 inches taller. He weighed in 170 and a hook, 171 for Masvidal. Game bred with a reach advantage of 2 inches. All right, now for the particulars inside the octagon where we find Bruce Buck.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a boxer holding a professional record, 32 wins, 11 losses. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing in at 171 pounds. Fighting out of Miami, Florida, presenting the number 5 welterweight contender in the world, Jorge Gamebred And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter holding a professional record, 24 wins, 6 losses. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 170 and 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, presenting the 3-time World Cup Jiu-Jitsu champion and the number 3 ranked welterweight contender in the world, Damian Maia! And when the action begins, a referee in charge, Kerry Hatley.
Kerry Hatley, our referee. It has been 8 years and 22 fights since Jorge Masvidal was submitted. That, of course, the goal for the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner Damian Maia tonight. Maia, the southpaw, in black trunks.
Masvidal just shook off the hand touch. It's like, no. We're here to fight.
Damian Maia is one of the only guys that really hasn't abandoned, you know, his roots. He's still a jiu-jitsu guy, and because of that, Joe, he's a hero. Like, the people in the jiu-jitsu community love Damian Maia because he's so true to who he is.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, he's the last example of a real throwback. Look at that. I mean, immediately shoots, ties you up, just pulls guard, and his takedown attempts, he chains them together. He's unbelievably physically strong because you're dealing with a guy that fought at 185 pounds his entire career, and he's just shocking in his ability to tie you up. And look at this, he gets a hold of the leg, and Masvidal's defending it off very well so far.
Masvidal has already done better than previous opponents of Maia during this recent run. Perhaps that guillotine attack maybe got Maia's attention.
When Maia has a hold of you, you're in danger. And this is what's going on right now. Maia's got a hold of him, and he's getting his back.
That's the issue, Joe. You know, a lot of us as fighters, we stand up by giving our back to get to the fence. Against Damian, you can't do that because he finds a way to get a hook in, and once he gets a hook in, then you're in trouble.
Injustice 2, fight is your favorite DC heroes and villains in the Ultimate Superpowered Showdown, available Tuesday on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
He's got his back and he's got the body triangle in. Jorge Masvidal right now is in deep trouble. I mean, he's gonna do his level best, defend and be patient, but this is not where he wants to be. He's carrying Damian Maia's weight. It's easy for Damian to hold this position. He's got the butterfly behind the back leg. He's got the body triangle locked in tight. This constricts the breathing of Jorge Masvidal. And if Jorge makes a mistake, an arm is going under his neck and he's gonna go to sleep.
But what does Damian have to do to get him back down to the ground? Because as much as he's comfortable, he doesn't need to put him down.
He just has to grab his neck. Like, this is a battle right now. This is terrible. This is terrible.
This is
where he's got it across the face. He doesn't even need to go under your chin. He'll choke you unconscious through your eyeballs. I mean, you're dealing with a completely different level of squeeze. There's levels to jiu-jitsu, and Damian Maia is one of the highest levels of all time.
Yeah. Masvidal's doing a good job of controlling Maia's left hand.
He's doing a great job.
Yeah, so that when Maia goes under the chin or across the face, he cannot get his hands locked to either start dragging him back down to the ground or start looking for a choke.
But Damian will switch to the left hand then. Good defense. So far, excellent defense by Masvidal. And as long as he keeps Damian pressed up against the cage, he doesn't really have to worry about carrying his weight. And if you look at where Damian's leg is, it's not constricting his breathing right now.
And because of the way Damian's last few fights have gone, John, you wonder if Masvidal's like, okay, I'm in trouble, but the fights, I lose this round, it's fine. Will Damian have the energy to get a takedown like he did at the beginning of this round? Because he took a lot of energy to get him down.
Damian went sideways. He switched a little, and now he's making him. He's trying to drag him down here. Now he popped back up. He just has to get his hands together. If he gets his hands together, Masvidal's in trouble. And
Masvidal's doing a good job of actually controlling the top hand so that Damian cannot attack his choke.
Yeah, excellent defense so far, but I mean, this is like watching a snake trying to swallow its prey.
Few men able to survive with Damian Maia on their back for this long. It's going to be a long minute plus here for Gamebred.
So, Joe, as the top guy in Damian Maia, you know, it's like attacking a submission for long with this body triangle. Do the legs start to be a little heavier going into the second round?
Yeah, well, he's definitely going to feel this, but not too much, because the way the shin is across the thigh, he doesn't have to completely carry all of his weight. He's kind of supporting, almost like he's sitting on him. And he's carrying him also a little bit with his upper body, but he switched it. He switched the body triangle to the hooks. He went back to the traditional hooks, and now he's in danger of getting shook off. And he recognized that, back to the body triangle. So that is probably answering your question. He probably released the body triangle because his thighs started getting tired. Now, he almost dropped down and grabbed a hold of the leg to try to pick the ankle out from underneath him. But he's still battling here. And Masvidal did a great move right there. Got that two hands on one and got that arm to the side. And he's in a position where Damian Maia's elbow is in trouble. And now he's turning, but he's on top. Oh, and he's tagging him. Maia's in big trouble.
Masvidal making these ground strikes count.
Maia right back to that half guard, though, man.
Maia back to the half guard, but doesn't have any control of the body right here. Doesn't have control of the posture. He's doing a good job defensively, ducked under that punch, so he's still got his wits about him, but he doesn't have control of Jorge Masvidal here. Masvidal ends the round on top, doing damage. Very interesting.
He's got to feel good about that.
Yes, because he survived the onslaught. And look, Damian Maia's walking back a little limping. Yeah. That might be his leg tired. His legs might be spent here.
He's tired now. We got him, George. Breathe. Smart feet, footwork. Now you can start letting go. He's going to be tired.
Just breathe. Muévete, tírale la combina. Ya el pecho y la derecha a la cara. Ya el pecho para que él no baje. Okay. Vamos.
Postura no começo tem que ser impositiva para ele não acreditar e não vir.
So he doesn't believe and doesn't come. Always try to get him against the cage. That's where you're going to get him. Always foot on the cage and put him down. You run the round.
You know, it's interesting. I think he did win the round, but he didn't really do anything to him. You know what I mean?
The unauthorized reproduction or distribution of this copyrighted work is illegal and punishable under law.
There was a moment where Damian
round two, ready?
came close to sinking something in, but it never really did. So it was basically just controlling position, getting a takedown, but Masvidal did some damage at the end of the round. So it makes this very interesting.
Masvidal was breathing very heavy in between rounds, and as soon as they said fight, he seems to kind of be okay, but now some tape's loose on his hand. They're going to have to cut it.
Hey. George! Ofensivo, tú! Oh, there we go.
So they came in, cut the trailing tape there on the glove of Masvidal, back underway. 20 seconds gone by here, round 2.
Yeah, there was some deep breathing by Jorge Masvidal in between rounds, but he seems to have recovered.
And now he's fighting forward. Now he's got Maia on his back foot.
And there's that shot again, this time stuffed.
Great takedown defense by Masvidal.
And now Masvidal's nice and slippery. Good kick to the body by Masvidal. Ooh, inside leg kick. And this is dangerous for Damian Maia.
Every strike Masvidal lands, his corner just goes crazy. Because they know now they're fighting the fight that they want to fight.
Huge for Masvidal to get to that stool in round 2. Working off the jab here, another good sprawl.
Not just that, he shot and then stopped. He stopped once he realized that the sprawl, he didn't keep chaining it together like he did in the first round.
Yes, that's the difference. Because of the fatigue, he didn't pull half guard to put himself in position to try to get another kick. And he stays here.
He's getting lit up.
He's getting lit up.
He's getting lit up.
Masvidal is so clean and so fast with his technique. No wasted motions on those kicks. There's no tell. Damian Maia can't read that because there's no tell.
There's no tell, and he's standing straight up, too. Like, look how straight he stands.
Maia pressing down gingerly on that lead leg. Masvidal attacks again.
See, again, once he sprawls, he's not shooting. There he goes. Now he's going to half guard. Now Masvidal's in a little bit of trouble. Now it gets tricky. And Masvidal's confident.
Yep. But he's got to get those legs back. Be careful. Maia's going to try to run the pike here.
He's got loose. Oh, he nailed him. He nailed him. He hit him with a knee and another shot.
Another shot.
Desperation now.
Yep. And there you go, again, half guard.
Yeah, but he does not have control.
Because Maia keeps sprawling all the, Masvidal keeps sprawling all the way out.
Yep.
He keeps taking his legs all the way back, so it doesn't give Damian a chance to try to make him engage him in grappling situations.
And now Damian has a hold of the leg with one leg. He's got it slightly hooked, but it's not really enough to keep Masvidal in place.
And as long as he's flat, Masvidal is okay. It's when he starts to build up to his base where Masvidal has to worry.
Oh, now he's got him down. Now it gets interesting. 2 minutes, 34 seconds to go. Let's see if Damian can work. Look at Masvidal trying to lock up an anaconda choke. That's interesting, because he's kind of got it. You know?
And maybe not the strength discrepancy that some forecasted here with the former middleweight and former lightweight here meeting in the middle. 0 for 5 for Maia on his takedowns this round, unofficially 2 for 10 for the fight.
So he shoots a single, goes to half guard and finishes the takedown, but the takedown doesn't count. How's that work? If there is no takedowns, Joe, how are they on the ground right now?
The takedown doesn't count, like in the UFC.
Well, he just said 0 for 10, but he's out. Somebody got a takedown.
It's obviously a takedown.
It's like what? Like blink my eyes or
something?
something?
No takedown. This is a takedown now.
Why is 0 for 10?
No score.
I'm putting you in charge of the takedowns now. Who more qualified to do a takedown than Daniel Cormier? Maia is behind Masvidal, but Masvidal's almost up to his feet. And if he does get up to his feet, Maia could be in trouble.
Yes,
you see a lot of blood coming out of Maia's head right now. Looks like something in the forehead. Maia drags him down again.
If Jorge Masvidal gets out of this position, that will be the worst case scenario for Damian Maia. Because he worked so hard to get here.
He's got to be exhausted. But then again, Masvidal might be exhausted too, but it's going to be easier for him to defend the takedowns than it's going to be for Masvidal to defend the strikes.
Yes.
Damian's still just trying to lace those legs. Oh, dragged him down now. Minute to go. Things are getting interesting right here. Armbar attempt, perhaps.
Masvidal has to be very careful in this position here. And not only for the submission, but also the fact that Maia's getting time to rest here. Again, he can be in this position all day. If it's a grappling, he can do this all day. He needs to make him uncomfortable where he's standing grappling or on the feet trying to strike with Jorge Masvidal.
But what Masvidal's done really well on the ground is defend himself in an impressive way. 30 seconds to go.
But again, Masvidal was so successful early in the round with the strikes, and then Maia, when he took him down, Joe, you said 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So half the round on the feet, half the round on the ground.
Yeah.
How do you score it?
That's a very good question. Because when it comes to damage, you got to give it to Masvidal.
Yes.
Lit him up with those leg kicks, hit him with a knee, hit him with a couple of good shots. But on the ground,
it's a wash. He's winning.
Yeah.
Maia's winning.
Masvidal intimating to watch the back of the head. 10 minutes now gone by.
Very interesting headed into the third round.
Water, come on. Just breathe.
Gelo.
Come on, get the ice on it.
Só respira, a água tá na tua mão.
Okay, breathe, water's in your hand, man.
Let me ask you this, DC, how do you score this now?
Ganhou esse round.
You won this round again.
Segura.
You turned it around. Now what do we need? You need to be intelligent. He's going to come at you.
Postura de dropar nível, isso que previne
changing your levels.
Quando for entrar, tem que ser com ele perto da grade.
When you try to take him down, it has to be near the edge of the cage.
Tá esperando para sprawl.
Tírale las manos, brother, saca las manos. Saca tus combinaciones, ya el upper hook, ya y tira a la derecha. Y síguele metiendo el low kick a la rodilla, que tiene dolor en la rodilla. Síguele metiendo el low kick. No te quedes parado frente a él. Si te lleva para el piso, te para.
Dodging the question away.
Hey, Joe, you guys, a brother can only be wrong so many times. So once the scorecards are read, then I will tell you who I thought won. Because I have no idea. I actually have no idea because it was split right down the middle. I mean, Maia won the second half, and Masvidal won the first half. First round, I thought Maia won, but I mean, Masvidal finished on top, landing big damage. It's a crazy fight.
Well,
so
we can all agree.
It's possible that it could be 1-1 here.
Yes, could be 1-1 going into the third. And for Damian Maia, I feel he needs to rush that takedown again earlier in the round.
Ooh, high kick.
Because this does him no favor.
Yes, you're right. But if he does rush in, he's worried about getting clipped or something.
He's got to shoot like he did, fall to his back and get the half.
Oh, strong inside leg kick. Really, he might have hurt his knee there.
Yeah.
Damian's he's moving around, but it looked like his knee buckled. That was a strong inside leg kick. And again, the way you said it, there's no telegraphing. He just smacks those out there.
Body kick good for Masvidal as well, and a good poker face from Maia. I think you're right, Joe. I think that left leg is hurting.
But again, you know, it's like if he gets beat up for another 2.5 minutes and takes him down and does not do the damage that Masvidal does, you know, how does he expect to actually get the judges to score in his favor?
It's a really good question because he didn't come close to securing a submission in that second round. He got a good position. He was on top. But the bottom line is Masvidal's doing more damage in this position than he's doing on the ground.
Yes.
Certainly in the first round, there was more time spent in control by Maia. But again, didn't really get close to finishing.
Minute and a half gone by here in this third and final round.
This is where you need really educated judges.
Distance strikes, no surprise. All Jorge Masvidal.
So far, no takedown attempt yet by Damian, just fainting.
So what is it? Does Maia believe he won the first 2 rounds? Is that the message he got in his corner?
I don't know. I mean, he listened to his corner, I'm sure. I mean, he might think that Masvidal has to come to him. He might be right. We don't really know.
Well, given what's at stake, you don't want to sit on what you think is a lead.
Yeah.
John, as close as it is, though, it's like still. Is that okay? You know, to just take, you know, it's close.
Well, Maia is still in danger, obviously. And he might feel in danger and just not feel like he's recovered enough to explode and move in for a takedown. And Masvidal's been tagging him, especially that knee.
It's pick your poison with Jorge Masvidal on the feet. Power in all limbs.
I mean, there you go. There it is. Now here comes the attempt. Nice high cross by Maia.
Jumps on it.
But again, look, Joe, we're at 227 now.
Yep.
The same exact situation as we were in last round if Maia is able to control the second part of the round.
But if you can finish him, this is all mute.
And now you see Masvidal's a little more accepting of just being on the ground with Damian Maia.
Yeah, because he's got some
tired
experience in the defense as well, though.
And he's a little tired. Both guys are. They've worked hard.
Joe, you heard the Maia corner earlier reference the fence. How might the fence be used to Maia's advantage as he tries to get a submission?
Well, if Maia can get behind, he's under the chin here.
And he's just at a bad angle. If he can actually get the back, he can finish this. He was at a bad angle.
He's at a bad angle, and Masvidal realized it. It can keep him from rolling away, and he's doing that here.
Oh, this is where you don't want to be, though.
Yeah, this ain't good for Masvidal.
Masvidal's trying to get to his back here. He's trying to get off of Maia to his left to get to his back, which may end up giving up mount.
Well, he's not going to because of the body triangle.
Now he's not going anywhere.
The only thing about the body triangle here is that Damian has to elevate his hips so that the weight isn't on the left side. So the way it is right now, you can't really squeeze down as well because it puts too much pressure on the foot and the ankle. So he could do two things. He'd either let that go and go to full hooks, or he could switch the body triangle. But he might not feel confident enough in controlling him to let that go.
But defense 101 from that body triangle for Jorge Masvidal is to get the foot on that side.
Yes, he's done the perfect thing. But Damian might move over to the mountain here.
So less than a minute now to go. You got to think UFC welterweight champ Tyron will be back in studio, an interested observer here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, look, it's a very interesting fight because of the fact that Damian is a specialist and because of the fact that Jorge is so crafty. And you get to see a guy survive Damian Maia. You don't really see that too often. No. Most guys, they get taken into that deep water and then they drown. But Jorge is surviving and he's talking trash to him while Damian's beating him up. Only 20 seconds to go.
Nelson, last guy to take Maia the 15-minute distance.
Oh, he's got him flattened out now, though. This is a bad position for Jorge Masvidal, but not much time.
But in terms of damage, I still feel as though Masvidal did more damage in this entire fight.
I agree with you.
Well, we talk about Damian Maia's striking defense, but he only landed 3 significant strikes tonight. Decided advantage for Masvidal on the feet. And this welterweight title eliminator goes the distance. Gamebred raises his hands, thinks he's done enough. Same can be said for Damian Maia. Number 3 versus number 5 in this UFC welterweight division. The fight replay is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you.
This was the story of the fight. You know, Damian Maia trying to secure takedowns, get the back and control Jorge Masvidal, and Jorge Masvidal want to stand at range of strike. Here you see Damian get to the body lock, take his back, and take him down. Now, into the first round, Jorge Masvidal finds a way to change the position, gets off some really good damage to end the round. So the lasting impression the judges will see is Jorge Masvidal on top. At range, all Masvidal, inside leg kick. Right here through the knee, but the elbow was the telling strike in that exchange. Again, inside leg kick. Damian Maia staggering a little bit. Body kick, big kick in the third round by Masvidal. But after a while, Damian Maia goes for his shot, high crotch, elevates the leg, runs into Jorge Masvidal. Once he's on the ground, he controlled the rest of the fight. Every round broke down into 2 parts. 2.5 minutes for Masvidal, 2.5 minutes for Maia.
Well, no fighter in the last 3 or 4 years has had as much success on the feet against Damian Maia as Jorge Masvidal did tonight. It remains to be seen as to whether or not he has done enough to take Maia's spot in the top 3 and potentially secure that elusive first UFC title shot. The official decision is brought to you by Metro PCS, who brings you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide 4G LTE network. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. Jeff Mullen scores the contest, 29-28, Maia. Aladdin Martinez scores the contest, 29-28, Masvidal. And Sal Diamano scores it, 29-28, for the winner by split decision, Damian Maia.
I'm here with the winner, Damian Maia. First of all, Damian, congratulations. You faced a very crafty, very skillful opponent. Was there anything in this fight that surprised you?
Very much. I thought he was easier to take down, and he was easier to submit. But actually, he's one of the best jiu-jitsu fighters that I ever fought in the UFC.
Now, when it comes to scoring a fight like this, it can be very difficult. One fighter was dominating the stand-up aspect of the fight. You got it to the ground, and you were able to dominate that aspect of it. Were you concerned when the judges were reading the decision?
No, I thought I was winning because he didn't really dominate stand-up. He was more like even, and on the ground, I was totally dominating him. So I thought, was a right decision.
Now, what did you just say to Dana White? You went over and you said something to him. What did you just say?
I said it to Dana, 7 in a row. The Brazilian with most wins in the UFC, 3rd of all times. I want to fight for the title. He said, you got it. Thank you, Dana.
He said you got it. All right, so the next time we see you in this octagon, you'll be fighting for the UFC welterweight title against Tyron Woodley. Give us your thoughts on that.
Finally, thanks God. It's just a dream come true, you know. I've been working so hard for that. And of course, I want to come here and submit all my fights like I did in my last fights. Today I wasn't able, but the crowd in Dallas was great, you know, in the street this week. Everybody was so great here in Texas. Thank you very much, guys, for the support. You guys are great. Everybody said to me that Texas is a great place, and, you know, I'm sure about that right now.
Congratulations on your victory. Congratulations on your upcoming title shot. And I look forward to seeing you fight for the World Championship. Demian Maia, ladies and gentlemen.
19th UFC win for Demian Maia. That post-fight interview was brought to you by Alien Covenant. From 20th Century Fox, director Ridley Scott returns to the Alien franchise with his most terrifying creation ever, Alien Covenant. Experience the fear in IMAX May 19th. And for Gamebred Masvidal, last 4 losses in the UFC by split decision. Demian Maia presumed to fight Tyron Woodley next time out. All right, here's what's coming up on UFC Fight Pass next Saturday, May 20. Glory Super Fight Kickboxing live at 1 p.m. Eastern. The night before, Friday, May 19th. It'll be Titan FC 44 Bantamweight champ Shorty Torres set to put his belt on the line. Also, Megan O'Leary sits down with UFC President Dana White on the exchange. That is available now. And as we announced yesterday, big news coming soon. Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series will be live on UFC Fight Pass. Follow UFC Fight Pass for more information. Well, Kingdom is back. The hit MMA drama premieres May 31st on Audience. Here's a sneak peek of the new Can't Miss season.
I want to fight again.
What happens if you lose again? Where does that put you?
I gotta be who I was.
And joining us today, cast and crew of the hit MMA drama. We got the show creator, Byron Velasco here, Mr. Jonathan Tucker, Matt Loria, and Joanna going all here tonight. You can catch that season premiere of Kingdom May 31st, 8 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. It is only on Audience. So on June 3rd, the UFC returns to pay-per-view from Rio de Janeiro with a featherweight title unification bout pitting one of Brazil's all-time greats against one of Hawaii's finest.
Max Holloway will finally get his shot at the UFC undisputed featherweight title when he competes against Jose Aldo. Max has looked amazing inside the octagon. He's on a 10-fight win streak, and he looks better with every single performance. And he truly believes that it is his destiny to be the UFC undisputed featherweight champion of the world. Unquestionably one of the best in the 145-pound division. The big question, though, is does he have what it takes to beat the long-standing champion, Jose Aldo?
And it is all over! Jose remains!
You're looking at a guy in Jose Aldo that can win the fight at any moment from any place. More victories in championship fights as a featherweight than any fighter that's ever lived. You're looking at a guy who has had amazing success against some of the great fighters in the world at 145 pounds.
But he just sprinted out and ran into the crowd. They're carrying him on their shoulders now. Look at this.
Max Holloway is dynamic, he's constantly improving, and he is on a run.
Always getting hurt and pulling out. It's hard to find the guy.
Hashtag where's Jose Aldo? Let me know when you guys find him. I'll be waiting.
And in front of him is Jose Aldo, the greatest featherweight of all time.
This is a big fight, man. The undisputed featherweight championship of the world. Jose Aldo, it amazes me how people still don't realize how great this guy is. But his opponent, Max Holloway, we have seen this young man grow in the UFC. At one point, he was the youngest guy in the UFC. Now he's the interim champion, fighting Jose Aldo in Brazil. This is a phenomenal fight. Max Holloway is a very, very big guy for this weight division in terms of height. Let's see how Jose Aldo handles this. One thing about Jose Aldo's greatness, just remember UFC 200, his fight against Frankie Edgar after Frankie looks so phenomenal right now.
And of course you got Aldo, the consensus greatest featherweight of all time, against Max Holloway, who at one point 7-3 after losing to Conor McGregor, now 17-3. You can count on one hand the number of fighters in UFC history who have won 10 consecutive fights. Max Holloway goes for an 11th and looks to become the undisputed UFC featherweight champ. It is Saturday, June 3rd. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, UFC 212, Aldo versus Holloway, and so much more. We'll see you June 3rd from Rio. One of the most feared champions in the UFC, Joanna Jedrzejczyk, has fearlessly taken on all comers. Will tonight's battle with Jessica Andrade be her toughest test to date? The wait for that answer is over.
Definitely, I want to keep on winning. This is my goal, this is my motivation, to stay undefeated champion.
E as duas vão se matar ali dentro e uma das duas vai cair. E quem cair vai ser ela, não vai ser eu não.
This is going to be a tough fight. I don't have a prediction for this fight.
Joanna Jedrzejczyk defends her UFC strawweight championship against the very dangerous Jessica Andrade. Jessica Andrade is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She's incredibly physically powerful. Since dropping down to strawweight, has looked like a wrecking machine. She has a bulldog style that perfectly complements the technical striking and precision accuracy of the champion, Joanna Jedrzejczyk.
Joanna Jedrzejczyk has delivered the Polish power.
It has all of the ingredients that you would look for in a spectacular championship bout.
Wow, Andrade pouring it on.
A Claudinha conseguiu dar um knockdown nela com jab. Pô, se a Claudinha com jab dá um knockdown, imagina um direto meu, vai quebrar o queixo dela todinho.
Jessica can say whatever she wants to say. Step into the octagon and face me.
E eu falo assim, agora é minha chance. Com certeza eu vou sair vitoriosa, porque eu já tenho isso dentro de mim, de não desistir e não deixar ninguém tomar o que é meu.
That's a big win for Jessica Andrade.
I will fly to Dallas as a champion and I will fly out from Dallas as a champion and still forever.
The undisputed strawweight champion of the world.
So here she is, the number 3 ranked UFC strawweight contender, Jessica Andrade. As we mentioned, Joe, perfect in this 115-pound division, and tonight, financially and otherwise, an opportunity to change her life forever.
A huge opportunity, both financially and for her mixed martial arts career. I mean, she's facing the dominant champion in women's MMA today. She's facing Joanna Jedrzejczyk, a multiple-time world Muay Thai champion who has transitioned seamlessly into becoming an elite MMA champion. She's the best striker in women's MMA. She's the most technical, she's the sharpest, and she's the most dangerous.
Tonight's Prep Point is brought to you by Metro PCS, who brings you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast, nationwide 4G LTE network. And champ, when it comes to Andrade in this division, she's faster, she says her cardio's better, the power has come down with her. A lot of people believe this will be Joanna Jedrzejczyk's toughest title defense to date.
Yes, a lot of people do, and rightfully so. Jessica Andrade shares the same circle, or used to, with Joanna Jedrzejczyk. So she had the ability and the chance to train with her. There is something to be said about feeling a dominant champion before you actually step in the octagon with her. there's an experience to that. So where when she's in there with Jedrzejczyk, it's not the first time that she's seen her. You can see at times when Jedrzejczyk starts to go off on people, they kind of go into a shell. Andrade has experienced that. She said that she believes Jedrzejczyk has a weak chin, and if she can stagger and hurt people at 135, she is going to punch a hole through Jedrzejczyk's face. If Claudia Gadelha can drop you with a jab, imagine what a right cross from me is going to do to Joanna Jedrzejczyk. That is exactly what she feels. Knockout coming for Andrade, she believes.
And we talk so much about the champion's pressure, but Andrade, third highest striking rate in the history of the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Woman has her own unique thing. You know, she's got her own unique personality. There's a certain meanness and viciousness to her that you just don't see, and almost like she's enjoying it. You know what I mean? Like she's just she's malicious.
She has a demented soul. She loves to damage and punish people.
She does. And she loves all the drama. She loves all the pressure. There's just something about her that's completely unique to women's combat sports. You don't see a lot of people like her in the world. She's a woman from a hard background, and to be a multiple-time world Muay Thai champion, and then to take those elite, high-level striking skills and dominate in MMA the way she has, you have to have a very special mind.
She is the Polish superstar. She is the UFC strawweight champion, Joanna Jedrzejczyk, and she is really invested in her career. She is now training full-time at American Top Team with the Perfecting Athletes folks. Realized a life-changing payday at UFC 193, and Joe, she's dumped all that money into her career, and it has obviously paid dividends thus far.
She loves being a champion. She loves all of this. She loves telling all these women that they're never going to beat her. She loves all the interviews. She loved being interviewed yesterday at the weigh-ins. You can tell she's enjoying being the best women's fighter in the world today.
Her name is Joanna Champion. It has become a part of who she is. You know, she loves it, Joe. Like you said, man, Joanna Jedrzejczyk has an ability to make very good fighters look like they just don't belong in there with her. Now, the most dominant female in the UFC is the smallest, and now we have 4 divisions. Nobody in the UFC has this. I don't know what it is, Joe. I cannot point to tell you exactly what Joanna Jedrzejczyk has, but she has it, she has this, and she goes in there and she dominates and she continues to move forward to try to tie Ronda Rousey for most successful title defenses in female UFC history.
There's just a viciousness to her that you rarely see.
If there's no issues between her and her opponent, she will create them. She needs it. Some people strive under those circumstances.
And of course, she realized the UFC strawweight title in this very building back in March of 2015 at UFC 185 by defeating Carla Esparza. In all title fights, she has outlanded the opposition. Right now, she has the best striking differential in UFC history. Joanna Jedrzejczyk trying to successfully defend this belt for a 5th time. That would put her 1 shy of the great Ronda Rousey. All right, let's get to the tail of the tape for this most anticipated UFC strawweight championship fight. Joanna Jedrzejczyk is 29 years old. She'll be 30 in August. Jessica Andrade is still just 25. You see the discrepancy in height. Jedrzejczyk will have a 3.5-inch reach advantage. We'll see if she can maximize it here tonight. And now to get us started, the venerable Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this championship contest is sponsored by Injustice 2. Fight as your favorite DC heroes and villains in the ultimate star power showdown. Available Tuesday on PlayStation and Xbox One. And Kingdom. Don't miss the series premiere of the critically acclaimed MMA drama on Audience, May 31st. And now, this fight is 5 rounds for the undisputed strawweight UFC Championship of the world. Our 3 judges at Octagon side scoring this contest are Jeff Mullen, Sal D'Amato, and Troy Winklebaugh. And our referee for this contest, Jacob Montalvo. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a Muay Thai kickboxer holding a professional record, 16 wins, 5 losses. She stands 5 feet 1 and 1/2 inches tall, weighing in at 114 and 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Niterói, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, presenting the number 3 ranked strawweight contender in the world, the challenger, Jessica Andrade. And now introducing the champion, fighting out of the red corner, a striker holding an undefeated professional record, 13 wins, no losses. She stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 115 pounds. Fighting out of Austin, Poland, presenting the reigning, defending, undisputed UFC strawweight champion of the world, Joanna Jedrzejczyk.
Here to the center. Moving over the rules, let's have a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. I follow my commands at all times. If you want to touch your gloves, do it now. Good luck, ladies.
Boy, intensity. What?
Oh, I love watching this lady fight. This is a very intriguing fight.
Jessica Andrade, first Brazilian woman to compete in the UFC. First UFC title fight tonight. Here we go. Against the number 1 pound-for-pound woman in the world, Joanna Jedrzejczyk, champion in the black and gold, challenger in what?
And for Andrade, I feel like she's got to close the distance, try to catch her with a big shot, and perhaps take this fight to the ground.
She knows what she needs to do, Joe, but can she do it? Is she gonna stand at range because of the moment? Or can she go out there and fight as she did in the last fight with Angela Hill, where she went with unrelenting pressure? There's a difference to saying it, but when you're in there, you got to actually do it.
This is also a 5-round fight, and the question of how much weight she cuts to get down to 115 pounds will also come into play, and whether or not that affects her. She's caught her with the right hand. She's got to close the distance, though, because even at 115, she was short for 135.
Yes.
But against Andrade, excuse me, against... she clipped her.
That's the type of fight she has to make her fight. That type of fight. Because it's a brawl. It's not technical striking. Jedrzejczyk can technical strike all day.
Right.
You got to engage her in a brawl. It's your only chance.
Andrade, an absolute monster in the pocket, and she weighed in 114.5 pounds. She was one of the first few fighters to weigh in on Friday. And she could have had this title fight earlier as she lands again up top.
She is brawling for sure.
The moment she engages, you can see the difference in the strength between the two.
Absolutely.
And she's explosive, Andrade.
And she's a little bulldog.
See that mouse on the forehead of Joanna Jedrzejczyk, courtesy of that left hook from Andrade.
Wow, already.
Look at that.
Mouse. Wow.
Now, Jedrzejczyk has defended takedowns before in this division, but has she defended someone as strong as Andrade? Look at that.
Wow.
Just power to pick her up and throw her down.
But, again. Now she's got her on her back, legitimately. Very interesting.
Just over 3 minutes here to go in round one.
That
strong
is a
start.
Nasty welt on the forehead of Joanna.
But again, you have to be able to keep this pace for 25 minutes. Claudia Gadelha started strong against Jedrzejczyk, and eventually Joanna took over the championship round.
And now Joanna's back up. And she hit her with an elbow and a nice knee to the body as well.
Joanna does a great job in here of framing and throwing elbows.
And there's another nice knee to the body. These are hard knees to the body.
One underhook here for Andrade in the clinch.
Oh,
Andrade a little bit wild with that right hand attempt. Just over 2 minutes now to go round one. And history has shown if you're trying to get Jedrzejczyk out of there, you really got to knock her unconscious. She keeps coming back, and as you mentioned, DC gets stronger as the fight goes on.
Yes, because she's fought 25 minutes over and over again and never slows down, especially when she's comfortable. At this range, she's very comfortable. She can do this all day.
Yeah,
and you will not out-technique her, John.
Yeah, last 3 title defenses, to your point, have all gone the 25-minute distance.
Oh!
High kick. But Andrade is walking through everything. She's such a little bulldog.
She actually shook it off and said that did nothing. But right now it might not. But by round 3, if you're taking damage, it'll start to pay dividends.
And Joanna slammed another one of those leg kicks in there. And this time slides away from the wild punches, but she's feeling that swelling in her head.
Stiff jab is good for Jedrzejczyk. Just over a minute now to go. Andrade was an outstanding soccer player in her day before transitioning to martial arts.
Caught her with the left on the break, and a nice knee to the body before that.
Looks like a speed advantage for the champion here early.
But so far, Andrade is walking through everything.
The Jedrzejczyk camp said they worked a lot on her footwork, making sure she's not there when Andrade has these big explosions into her.
One more takedown. Oh, boy. Wow.
She's using all strength.
Yeah, that's all strength, right?
Yep. Now, as the fight goes on.
Elbow to the head.
As the fight goes on, those become more difficult.
Looked like maybe that elbow got Andrade's attention. Inside leg kick. Man, she gets that foot up quick. 5 minutes down.
See her feeling that lump on her head. Now let's take a look here. Right there with that left hand, that was what did it. Slapped her in the face with that front round kick, and see Andrade just laughing at her. And here's the end. I mean, that was like she was carrying potatoes.
Ela tá botando uma vez você na distância, 2 vezes, 3 vezes.
2 times, 3
Vamos
times.
deixar ela botar uma e na segunda
Let her put one and go after her.
Até a metade do round tranquilo.
Until the middle of the round, good. But you have to accelerate after that.
Todo tempo fica fazendo isso.
All the time you're doing that.
Você viu?
You see that how you're stronger than she is.
Se concentra. Estratégia. Distanciou.
John House, the great cut man, former boxer, working on that welt on the forehead of Joanna Jedrzejczyk. And if the stool demeanor is any indication for Andrade, not breathing heavy at all after 5 minutes, potentially 20 still to go. Joanna, champion, right back to work, attacking that lead leg of Andrade, inside and out.
Yeah, she's picking her apart in these technical striking exchanges. I think Andrade's got to make this a brawl. Like her best moments in the first round, when she landed that hematoma, it was from these wild exchanges. But she's got to push these wild exchanges. She can't wait for them to happen. If she waits for them to happen, Joanna's going to keep doing this, sliding out of the range and slamming that shin into her thigh. I mean, when it comes to just technique versus technique, there's a giant chasm between these two. But when it comes to brawling, Andrade has a real shot to do some damage.
She's much more powerful and very explosive when she can get into these types of raw exchanges. You know, when they're standing at range, she's in trouble. Now she's doing a good job of starting to try to mix in some kicks because Jedrzejczyk's just out on the distance, just beating her with kicks right now. You see Jedrzejczyk trying to make sure she doesn't spend too much time with her back towards the fence. She even squares her body up to make sure she has an out on both sides as Andrade starts to pressure her. Watch, she starts to square up here.
Andrade feints. Don't forget, immediately following the main event, recap of all of tonight's action on the FS1 UFC 211 post-fight show. Streams live on Fox Sports Go. For those watching in Canada, flip it over to TSN.
Joe, I'm not sure she's checked any of these kicks.
Yeah, I don't remember her checking any either. I'm just interested to see whether or not she can close the distance or whether or not she gets frantic.
But maybe she needs to. Maybe she needs to just get frantic and go crazy, because right now, she is a step behind Jedrzejczyk.
Yeah, and she's taking damage, whereas Jedrzejczyk isn't in these kind of exchanges. She's got to have a sense of urgency to close the distance, like right there. But she needs to do that more.
Joanna thus far too fleet of foot. Andrade pressures again, but Jedrzejczyk out of harm's way.
Not just too fleet of foot, but technical, John. Like the way Andrade is coming after her, she's chasing her. And Jedrzejczyk is cutting corners and moving left and right and anticipating where her outs are going to be. Andrade is just kind of following her around.
Total strikes decided advantage for the champion as we approach the 2-minute mark in this second round.
Nice right hand to the body.
And Jedrzejczyk is doing a great job of actually mixing up the target, not just head-hutting, going to the body with that jab, going to the body with that right hand. And when she does get close, she grabs the tie clinch, throws a knee in, and circles back to the center of the octagon.
Beautiful job again defensively by the champion. You wonder if frustration might start to creep in for Andrade as she chases.
Like this kind of chasing around, it's also got to be very far. Oh, she stung her. She stung her with that right hand. Oh, again. And then goes the body. Oof. I'll tell you though, man, she better not be there when one of those lands.
She is throwing some wild strikes.
Very, very Vanderlei Silva-esque.
Yes, she is.
Oh, she checked that one.
Couple shots got through for Andrade, now a level change.
She's attacking that high crotch. She must feel like she can get takedown, which she has with a single leg better than she can do with a double leg.
Beautiful defense by
Jedrzejczyk. Yep. Allowed herself to just float the position.
Pop that jab in her face too.
And you can be sure she'll be buoyed by this pro-champion crowd. Less than a minute now to go in this second round.
But every takedown attempt is a big slam. Nothing's just an easy, clean takedown.
Right.
You saw Frankie Edgar earlier. Everything was clean. The takedowns were quick. He didn't work that hard to get the takedowns, so he was able to secure them. Everything's a big, hard takedown. Nice overhand right by Andrade there.
Yeah, she caught it.
She is eating jabs, man.
Might be the best jab in the game, man or woman.
Yeah, it's very possible she has the best jab. Oh, head kick, she hurt her. Oh, and Andrade tagged her. Andrade is a tank, man.
She's tough, man.
Still working hard for that takedown. Wow. Look at her, she's pumped.
You see in the second round, you see Jedrzejczyk start to really find her rhythm. Boom, big jab, right here. Throws the jab, now it's not to land, the right hand follows. The jab was just a distraction. Then again, right here, fading back, post. Just a frame, bow, head kick by Joanna Jedrzejczyk. That is high-level striking, man. And the moment she lands the high kick, look to knee.
Let the right hand go. Set it up with the 1, 1, 2.
That calf kick's making it mark.
Yeah, a little lower.
Mix it up, mix it up.
Remember, step back, the right leg. Watch your stance, put the hands out, control the distance. Let's give you electric stretch.
Hey, Asha, you see that body?
And the history on the champion, Joanna Jedrzejczyk, suggests she's only going to get stronger from here. It bears watching for Andrade in her first 25-minute fight in the UFC.
That was interesting. She asked her coach to stretch her leg. Did you see that? Yeah. I wonder what that's all about.
Andrade doesn't look fatigued. You know, she just looks a little bit confused in round 2 in terms of trying to find places to actually get damage off on Joanna.
Well, we knew that her chance to win this fight, Andrade, her chance to win this fight would not be a technical contest. It would be these exchanges right there, when she just barely missed.
And she lands. When she does that, she lands.
And when she lands, she's very dangerous. And she's still very game. But you're starting to see some serious swelling, particularly on her left leg. You see it on her calf, you see it on her thigh.
I think that was part of the game plan. Her coaches were telling her that calf kick is really starting to show itself now. Now you need to kick a little lower. Another head kick.
Beautiful.
Goes up so fast.
Yeah, she didn't telegraph that at all. Just popped it up there.
Now she's flowing. And Andrade continuously questioned what she perceived to be a weak chin on Joanna Jedrzejczyk. It's held up in all of her title defenses, and she's had as good a recoverability as anyone.
Well, if you're fighting a demon, you gotta look for some flaws, you know?
Oh, great level change there. But good defense by the champ.
You gotta look for something, and that's what you're gonna say to yourself. Oh, she can't take a shot if I connect. And meanwhile, if Andrade connects on any woman at 115 pounds, she's got a good chance of putting him unconscious. But it's about connecting, and she's been able to hit her a couple of hard times, especially that one in the forehead in the first round. But since then, this has been a technical dissection by the champion.
Not many people in mixed martial arts fight behind the jab, and Joanna Jedrzejczyk does it really, really well.
Just over 3 minutes here to go. Champion approaching 100 significant strikes landed. We haven't even hit the midpoint of this one. Leg kicks have been a big...
And you see Andrade actually switch stances now, John. Hide that leg.
Yep. Leg kicks, how about that? 90% on near 50 attempts.
She's going high with these kicks.
It's because of the stance change. You know, the left side, you can kick the body and you can go up top a lot easier.
Yeah, she's really starting to feel it on that left leg. She's limping on it now. And then she tried to throw a kick of her own.
Jab.
Just popping it in there.
Inside kick, jab.
Oh, she clipped her there. Andrade's still very game and dangerous.
Joanna loves this fight, though. She's in there smiling.
Andrade back to southpaw. Jedrzejczyk adjusts almost immediately. Less than 2 minutes now here in this third round.
One's coming high soon, John. Cannot fight this. She's so fast, so straight, everything just perfect. Everything perfect. Every strike, every kick, every punch. Everything's just perfect. She has not thrown one loopy punch yet, Joe. Everything is just straight down the pipe.
Yeah, and if it's loopy, it's because it's loopy on purpose.
Yeah.
It's because she's trying to get around your gloves. Woo! Oh my goodness.
That one was thrown to end the fight.
Both of them, the head kick and the punch. Andrade still very game. Clipped it coming in.
She sticks, then she moves. No wasted motion. Jedrzejczyk again circling out of harm's way. Just over a minute.
Stiff jab to the body there. She wobbled on that one. She landed that leg kick, and Andrade's leg buckled.
Strikes.
Woo! Clip on the left.
It's like a boxing fight, Joe. You see those guys going to the body early and they have no effect. But by round 7, 8, 9, you start to see the hands drop. Man, she can hardly stand now. And if she was a step behind before when she was fresh, how do you think she feels now that she's barely able to step on that leg?
Yeah, and you see in frustration in there, and she's absolutely just chasing her now, which sets up a counter. Joanna can time it. But meanwhile, that forehead, that lump in the forehead is getting worse on Joanna. It started to re-pump up this round. It's looking pretty nasty. That's got to be from one of the punches that landed in this round.
Andrade making it a firefight. But largely a dominant round once again for the champion.
It's the movement of Jedrzejczyk, man. The movement in these outside kicks. Every time, bang, bang, right on the same spot. Then going high. Because after a while, she starts to expect the low kick. Jab, jab. It's a beautiful, fast, quick jab with meaning.
You have
Look at the
find the
leg
distance
on Andrade.
and start with the jab and the straight. She's kicking you, you're at the distance. When you come for the throw, she's accustomed to getting her both arms under you. If you can't do judo throw, come back to the single leg. If it doesn't work, come back to the judo. You're good on those straight positions. Let's breathe all the time. Pull your lung.
DC, do you agree with that advice?
I do. I believe she needs to get close. I believe she needs to try to attack singles. She cannot be at range with Joanna Jedrzejczyk. Easier said than done. These strikes are coming at a speed that the coaches are not feeling inside the octagon.
And her face is starting to bust up. You're starting to see Andrade get cut.
When Andrade does fight southpaw, she doesn't follow as much as she does whenever she's fighting conventional. She actually tries to step forward, cut off the octagon. Watch Andrade, look at her right foot. She's kind of trying to set a trap by stepping to her right. But when she goes conventional, she literally just follows Joanna in a circle.
Champ lands upstairs. She continues to score here early in round 4. Andrade maybe trying to work her way inside to get one of those takedowns.
Or just throw a barrage of punches, John. She has to not go strike for strike because she's so much faster, Jedrzejczyk is. Look at that, in a circle. Now watch, Jedrzejczyk's back is going to beat to the center.
Just a pleasure to watch this champion work.
We also have to remember that Joanna has had some issues with her hands. She's had some broken hands in the past. So keep an eye on that.
For someone with the movement of Jedrzejczyk, it's very difficult to find her with your hands. You got to kick more.
Yeah. That
is when you have to be throwing more kicks. That's the only way to catch someone that you're actually having to chase the whole time.
Jedrzejczyk came in with a takedown defense near 82%. She already owns the single fight leg kick record of 70.
Whoa, man. She heard it with that. They're all starting to pile up, as you were talking about earlier, Daniel.
Can't fault the effort of Jessica Andrade again, still moving forward, trying to find a home for one of those hooks, but
finally where she needs to be here, on the inside, controlling an underhook. Hopefully she's gonna actually try to switch down to a shot. But even on her takedown so far, she has not been able to control Jedrzejczyk and keep her down for an extended period of time.
Strong underhook, facing up. Keep it high. High underhook.
Good use of the head by Andrade. Good short shot from Jedrzejczyk. Jedrzejczyk's trying to turn her around. Nice knee to the body.
so we mentioned her personal best UFC record, 70 leg kicks landed, 60 thus far. Still has 7 minutes potentially with which to work here.
A lot of times you'll watch fighters and they'll try to throw those knees on the inside and you see the opponent attack a leg. Jedrzejczyk always makes sure to frame her opponent away before she throws those knees in close. Not only does she get more velocity on the knee, she actually gives herself a chance to react if they do attack a shot.
Almost takedown there, but again, Joanna defends it.
And frustration has to be setting in, because you're trying to take her down. And even when you get 90% of the way, she gets right back up.
Champion right back to work off of that jab. She'll go to that right high kick periodically off of that jab. But at times it looks like it's a training session.
She buckled her leg with that last leg kick.
And if you pay close attention early in the fight, right hand.
That got it.
Look at Andrade just eats it and moves forward like she's angry that she got hit. She's so tough.
Now you see the combinations extending for Jedrzejczyk. Now they're not only 1-2 punch combinations, they're 3 or 4 strikes at a time.
She went high with that kick. It's amazing, the chin on Andrade. Look, I mean, she has just taken a ton of punishment in this fight and continues to walk forward. And continues to be dangerous.
Yeah, she's not giving up on herself. She's in there still trying to win the fight.
Oh, nice knee. Oh, nice. Took on the break.
Just a massive discrepancy in hand speed, waning seconds of this 4th round.
And the movement hasn't slowed down at all for Jedrzejczyk.
Boy, her forehead has gotten a lot worse though, guys. Look at her forehead now. It's huge. Let's hear it. Left, right, on the nose. And here she hides the head kick behind the punch.
A mão aqui, mesmo que ela já tenha botado, enquanto ela vai botar o pé no chão, tu já pode sair.
As soon as she puts her foot down, you gotta catch her.
Quer água?
Want some water?
Ó, ela encostou em você, você tem que sair.
She touches you, you gotta go after her. You have to try the hip throws.
Botou as duas mãos aqui no blind her with the 2, bring the high kick around. Excellent job. We're up big. She's gonna come desperate.
They got ice on that big knot in the forehead of Joanna, but so far it's not a
factor. Be safe though. Hey, be safe. Be safe.
So Mike Brown, chief corner for Joanna Jedrzejczyk, repeatedly saying be safe. They certainly feel like they have at least 3, if not 4 rounds in the can. 5th and final round of this UFC strawweight championship fight.
Last round.
And you did perhaps see some frustration setting in for Jessica Andrade, as if to say, what exactly is it going to take?
Well, she realized she's in there with the next level. I mean, one of the most technical strikers ever in MMA.
Because in her last fight, these strikes landed.
Yeah.
These big hooks and these right hands, they landed. You know, so it's just a much, much different level on the feet. And now that Jedrzejczyk has shored up the hole in the wrestling, it's a real problem.
You got that takedown defense to keep the fight where you want it. She stuffed 9 of 11 Andrade shots unofficially.
As if Joanna Jedrzejczyk wasn't a problem enough. Now she can wrestle.
And her entire life revolves around this goal. Tunnel vision when it comes to this belt, defending it.
Pops that jab.
And this is the 5th round of a championship fight. She hadn't lost a step.
No, never stops, John. Never stops.
Yeah, constantly on the balls of her feet, constantly switching movement, left to right, right to left, angles.
And Joe, you can speak to it. It's just years of striking repetitions. You know?
John, not just that, but doing it perfectly. Excellent coaching. And championship level striking. I mean, when you're dealing with a championship level in Muay Thai, you're dealing with arguably the most effective striking discipline in the world today. And she was a multiple-time world champion.
And make no mistake about it, Jessica Andrade, a most worthy opponent, certainly earned this crack tonight.
Look at her still. She's still in there going after it. I mean, look at what this woman did to Jessica Andrade. Look at what she did to Carla Esparza. I mean, Joanna's a beast, and Andrade is still pressing forward, and she's still game. Look at her. She's getting tagged. She's still moving her head and swinging bombs. She just is getting outgunned. She's just simply out-techniqued. She's fighting the champion, and the champion's on another level. And also, I'm sorry, but also Andrade is only 25.
Right.
It's another thing to take into consideration.
She's still very young.
It just seems like these contenders, they have their moment early, but if you don't get Jedrzejczyk out of there, it makes for tough sledding the rest of the way. That's certainly been the narrative tonight.
The only one that has been able to compete with her was Claudia Gadelha. That's the only one that's been able to compete with her consistently, but she's won both fights in which they've fought. Now, the thing is, Joe, we talked about this in the Masvidal fight. We talked about Joanna. There's no tell on the strike. But Andrade always dips before. Look at that. She always dips before she attacks. That's her tell.
You know, used to dip Joe Frazier.
Yeah, but
still knocked a lot of people out.
Yeah, but every time, Joanna sees her coming, and then she kind of olays her and gets out the way. Look at that.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yep.
That's her tell. She drops her hands and she starts to dip. Look.
Andrade connected with a right hand early in this round. It's also causing a swelling on the left cheek of Joanna.
Right. Every time she hits her.
Yeah, she's got rocks in her hands.
Is part of that dip because she's on the wrong end of the reach equation?
Yes, exactly. She's trying to find angles and ways to actually close the distance.
Also, she's got murderous intentions on every punch she throws. She's trying to put everything behind it. She's got those tree trunk legs. She's trying to push off those things. And, oh, beautiful.
Nice.
Kind of a shovel hook there.
Nice elbow.
Oh, she hurt it with that elbow.
Because that elbow's landed.
She's going to head kick her.
Yes, she is.
Look for it.
Well, from a conditioning standpoint, Andrade certainly put herself in position to win this fight here tonight.
She's in great shape, John.
Oh, no question. If you endure this kind of punishment, and also you've got a real chance to look at her willpower and determination. She's clearly outclassed, but she is just never stepping back. I mean, this is a worthy challenger.
Yeah, and they'll see each other again, because I don't know who else can do this to Jessica Andrade. She's that tough.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They'll see each other again.
Andrade stalking, flat-footed, moving forward. 30 seconds now to go.
Wow, and Andrade just never stops coming.
Never stops. Unbelievable forward pressure.
And Joanna took a big look at the clock.
Nothing safe, though, about this fifth-round approach from Miocic.
No, man, and Andrade has the willpower, you know, the willpower to continue when you're dealing with this level of adversity.
Yeah.
To never give up on yourself.
Oh, yeah. No, she is a fighter. Oh, she tagged her with the right hand there.
Joanna Jedrzejczyk, Jessica Andrade go the distance. Standing ovation from the sellout crowd here in Dallas tonight.
I am equally impressed. I'm equally impressed with the skill and technique of Joanna and with the willpower and the heart of Andrade.
Yeah.
I mean, that was amazing.
Unreal.
This fight replay is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you.
As you said before, John, challengers have success early. They always do. But as the fight goes on, Jedrzejczyk starts to take over. Andrade had her moments early in the fight, middle of the fight, but as it went on, and the championship level of experience of Joanna started to show itself. Look at that. High kick off of a jab. Feint right hand high kick, then just a high kick. Beautiful, quick jab. Andrade tried to switch stances, outside leg kick to the opposite side, high kick on the other side. Big old hematoma on her head. Little bit tired, but still masterful performance by Joanna Jedrzejczyk. Joanna champion. I'm sorry, I don't want to disrespect her and call her by her real last name. Joanna champion.
And let's look here at the numbers. Wow. I mean, look at the number of strikes landed. Just a lopsided number, all of them in favor of the champion, Joanna Jedrzejczyk. But again, I can't say this enough. I'm so impressed with Andrade's will and determination.
Yes.
She lost this fight, but man, she won a lot of fans.
She never stopped moving forward. She never stopped moving forward, never gave up on herself. And I mean, it would have been easy to take a head kick after head kick like that.
The champion threw more than 350 strikes tonight. The official decision is brought to you by Metro PCS, who brings you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide 4G LTE network. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. The judges score the contest 50-45, 50-44, and 50-45 for the winner by unanimous decision, and still the undisputed UFC strawweight champion of the world, Joanna Jedrzejczyk.
Strawweight queen.
Jedrzejczyk, what were you just saying to the camera?
That I'm thankful to the God, and there is only one strawweight champion of the world, and it's me, Joanna Jedrzejczyk from Poland. Remember that no one is taking this belt from me. No one. Nobody.
This was a fight between you and a very worthy challenger. I mean, Jessica Andrade kept coming forward. She kept pressing you. Were you surprised at how much punishment she was capable of enduring?
Oh, Jessica is such a tough opponent. She drops from 135. She had amazing fights in 135. She's doing very well in 115, so she's tough, and I think she was the right person to be a challenger, but I'm looking forward. It was a tough fight. I had fights like this when someone is making too much pressure. I was super tired at the end, but my team, American top team, my coaches, Mikey, Katel, Kami, Daya, Phil, ATT, Perfect Athletes, my new management, Paradigm, my family. Thanks to God. Thank you, guys. Thank you for everything. I won my belt 2 years ago in Dallas, and I said that I will defend this title and no one will take this. Here we go. We're making history. Thank you, Dallas. I love you guys. I'm looking forward to see you soon.
Joanna, congratulations on a masterful performance. Thank you very much. It was beautiful.
Joe Rogan is going to talk to Jessica Andrade here in a moment.
All right, I'm here with Jessica Andrade. I have to say that that was one of the best displays of toughness and will I have ever seen in a championship fight. Despite being down on the cards for 5 rounds, you never stopped coming forward and you never stopped trying to win that fight. And although you lost the fight, I think you won a ton of fans here tonight.
Thank you, Dallas! Muito obrigado por tudo. Eu acho que a minha equipe, tudo isso que eu fiz hoje é graças à minha equipe, essa minha força de vontade, essa minha garra. Eu vim com ela desde o começo, eu queria ser a campeã, infelizmente não deu, eu tenho muita caminhada pela frente, eu ainda sou faixa roxa de jiu-jitsu, ponta azul escura de Muay Thai, então tenho muita coisa para aprender. A Joana realmente é a campeã, mas eu vou treinar mais ainda e vou vir disputar esse cinturão de novo com ela e com certeza vou sair campeã. E aproveitando a deixa, que eu não sei se eu vou falar depois, eu queria fazer um pedido muito especial. A minha mulher está aqui, Fernanda. Eu queria pedir você em casamento. Espero que você aceite. Eu te amo muito.
So I have to first of all thank my team. Everything that I did in here was thanks to them. I came here to be champ, but I'm still early in my career. I'm still a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm still a blue belt in Muay Thai. So I'll still be coming back. And today I'd like to make a special request to my girlfriend who's here, Fernanda. I want to ask her in marriage.
Did she give you a thumbs up? Well, congratulations on that too. Listen, you're only 25 years old. I'm sure we'll be seeing more of you. You gave an admirable performance here tonight, and I can't wait to see how much you have improved after you've learned from this championship attempt.
Com certeza, eu vou estar aqui de novo, vou treinar mais ainda. Espero estar aqui em Dallas novamente, é uma cidade incrível. E eu amo vocês. Beijo, obrigado, Dallas.
Certainly, I'll be back here. I'll train hard. I'll come back and I'll come here and fight in Dallas again.
Jessica Andrade, ladies and gentlemen.
Those post-fight interviews were brought to you by Alien Covenant. From 20th Century Fox, director Ridley Scott returns to the Alien franchise with his most terrifying creation ever, Alien Covenant. Experience the fear in IMAX May 19th. Valentina Shevchenko to your left, Holly Holm in the middle. Both of them have big fights coming up. Shevchenko for the title, Holly Holm a main event in Singapore. Rose Namajunas. How about Thug Rose? She wants to be next, of course, for Joanna Jedrzejczyk. But coming up next, it shall be done, the rematch for the UFC heavyweight title. Ohio's own Stipe Miocic, the man to beat these days tonight. He gets a chance to defend the belt against the last man to beat him, the affable Brazilian Junior dos Santos, trying to stamp his legacy as a two-time UFC heavyweight champion. The main event is straight ahead, but first, a message from UFC strawweight contender. You just saw her, Rose Namajunas.
Before you watch the main event, check out the special look at Alien Covenant. Ridley Scott returns to the Alien franchise with his most terrifying creation ever. Your heart might stop, but the action won't. In theaters everywhere this Friday.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River, country roads, take me home to the place I belong.
So until we see each other again. Alien Covenant. Experience it in IMAX. Friday. Rated R.
And now live from American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas, it is time for our main event for UFC 211, Miocic versus Dos Santos 2. Well, in 2014, they produced an absolute classic over 5 rounds. Tonight, Stipe Miocic and Junior Dos Santos meet again. But this time, the winner exits as the UFC heavyweight champion of the world.
Guys are exerting a tremendous amount of energy, and there's a big right hand.
I have been watching that fight a lot.
Oh, he got caught! Got caught with the left!
This guy is the toughest fight of my career.
Good right hand by Miocic. Caught him!
That was close, but unfortunately the judges felt he won, so nothing I can do. A lot has changed since the last time we fought.
When Stipe Miocic defends his title against Junior Dos Santos, he will be defending his title against the last man to beat him in the octagon.
They gave me JDS and I jumped all over it. Definitely wanted to avenge that loss.
Stipe Miocic, since that Junior Dos Santos fight, has been on a tear. Stipe Miocic has incredible amount of momentum on his side.
I've gotten way better. I'm a different fighter since last time we fought. You know what's going to happen. I'm going to be champ. I'm going to walk out still champ.
But make no mistake about it, this will be a very tough fight for him.
He's saying that he's improved, but the thing is, he was fighting other people. Now, he's fighting Junior Dos Santos.
Junior Dos Santos by knockout!
When these two fighters step into the octagon in Dallas, it will be for all the marbles and the most important title in combat sport.
During the fight, I'm not gonna be there to make friends, and I will do whatever it takes to get that belt.
Being champ, you got a target on your back. I'm the champ for a reason. Everyone wants my belt, so line up.
Junior Dos Santos is going to become the champion of the world again. There is no what Miocic can do to change this, and I will.
I'm gonna walk out there, you're gonna see the best me you've seen. Definitely gonna be different than the last fight, because I'm coming out on top, walking out and still with the belts that wrapped around my waist. Nothing's gonna change.
Hammer fist by Stipe. Stipe Miocic remains the heavyweight champion.
He is the former UFC heavyweight champion, Brazilian Junior Dos Santos, 16th UFC appearance tonight. And Joe, given what happened in December of 2015 against Alistair Overeem, there weren't a lot of people giving him a chance to get back to this precipice, but courtesy of that win over Ben Rothwell, in which he sort of unveiled JDS 2.0, he is here trying to become a two-time heavyweight champion.
Well, let's be honest, also, one of the reasons why is because Cain Velasquez is out of the picture right now. And Cain would likely be fighting for the title had he not been out of the picture. Junior Dos Santos is a lot like Damian Maia in a way, in that he is a real specialist. Like, Junior Dos Santos can take people down, and, you know, when he took down Shane Carwin in their bout, he's taken down people before. He can submit people, it's possible, but what he really does is box. And he has some of the best boxing in MMA today.
Tonight's Prep Point is brought to you by Metro PCS, who brings you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide 4G LTE network.
I'm sorry, J.A., I know you got to do your business, but Junior Dos Santos, a guy that was a UFC champion, as you said, Joe, everybody's calling out boxers right now. Everybody wants to box the boxer. This is one guy that could potentially box at a high level because he does it pretty much. That's pretty much all he does when he's fighting. He will throw kicks occasionally, but he's trying to set you up with the punches. Now, in the fight against Ben Rothwell, the movement that he showed, the jab he was throwing to the body, he had Ben Rothwell so confused. It was a masterclass in boxing inside of the UFC. Junior Dos Santos walks to the octagon, and he has this terrifying face. I always say he may have the scariest walkout face in the UFC. And then you tell him a joke, and the guy starts to smile, and he just kind of lights up the entire room. But a killer in the octagon, a new dad father outside, and just an all-around good guy.
He's a great guy. I mean, you would never know if you talked to him outside the octagon that he's one of the most ruthless killers inside that cage.
I try not to make eye contact with him when he's getting ready to fight. It's very intimidating. So when he looks over here, I just kind of put my head down, you know. I'm hoping that John Anik's looking at him and he intimidates John.
No fighter in the history of this division has more knockdowns. No one has landed more significant strikes. He has taken out a who's who of former champions, and he was the busier guy in that first matchup against Miocic, and defensively stuffed 17 of 18 shots. So we'll see how Miocic approaches the rematch tonight. Junior Dos Santos, the new father, looking to come through tonight in another massive spot.
Stark contrast to Junior Dos Santos' mean face. You have Stipe Miocic's empty face. He's a walk-in-the-park killer.
He gives you nothing.
Gives you nothing.
You see nothing. This guy, he may as well be going to work at the fire department.
Yeah.
He looks the same. But this guy's an assassin too. You got two of the most dangerous men walking the face of God's green earth going into this octagon right now. And one looks like he wants to rip your head off, and the other one looks like he's walking his dog. But when the door closes, these dudes are gonna go after it. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait.
He has a remarkable ability to stay calm. And you saw that in his title fight against Fabricio Verdum. When they were staring at each other in Brazil, Stipe Miocic looked like he was at home watching TV. I mean, he really did. Right. You see nothing on his face. And it's that ability to remain calm in a firefight that allowed him to land that picture-perfect right hand and shut the lights on Fabricio Verdum and win the UFC heavyweight title. He's a dangerous man and an excellent athlete, and it's one of the reasons why he's so good. It's not just his MMA skills, his overall body awareness, his athleticism, his work ethic. It's what makes him a great champion.
Yeah, really one of the best pure athletes to ever grace this UFC heavyweight division. And I'm glad you point out the composure, because he also had to lean on that against Alistair Overeem in the first title defense. Got knocked down with a counter, had to fight off the guillotine. And you interviewed him yesterday, Joe, in DC. He sort of has this pride and responsibility to be the heavyweight champion. It's taken his whole game and confidence seemingly to a new level.
Because it means something. Because it means something to be the heavyweight champion of the world, to represent your organization, represent your city. In Cleveland, Stipe Miocic has become his own organization.
Right.
He is another professional sports team in that city, and he wears that with pride. He walks out to MGK, a song about Cleveland. He loves what he means to his city, and he takes this responsibility very seriously. Yes, you should feel some pride in being a heavyweight champion of the world.
When he won that title, he yelled out, "Cleveland, you have a world champion."
And he's a baseball guy. You know, he played third base at Cleveland State University in addition to being a nationally ranked D1 wrestler, but he's at his best during baseball season. This time of year, 5-0 in the month of May, 4-0 inside the octagon in May. Stipe Miocic trying to tie the record for heavyweight title defenses with his second here tonight against that man, Junior Dos Santos. With that, here's the tail of the tape for this heavyweight championship. Stipe Miocic, 34, Junior Dos Santos is 33. A lot of similarities, both men 6'4" tall, 246 for Stipe. 245 for Dos Santos, 3-inch reach advantage with the champion, Stipe Miocic. And now for the official introductions for the main event. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Sanctioned by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. Executive Director Brian Francis. Chairman Mike Arizmendez. Our 3 judges scoring this contest at Octagon side are Jeff Mullen, Sal D'Amato, and Troy Wickapal. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Herb Dean. This bout is sponsored by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Metro PCS, who brings you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide 4G LTE network. And from 20th Century Fox, director Ridley Scott returns to the Alien franchise with his most terrifying creation ever, Alien Covenant. Experience the fear in IMAX this Friday. And now, this is the moment UFC fans watching around the world have been waiting for. Live from the sold-out American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas, it's time! 5 rounds for the undisputed UFC Heavyweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a boxer and jiu-jitsu fighter, holding a professional record, 18 wins, 4 losses. He stands 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighing in at 245 pounds. Fighting out of Salvador Bahia, Brazil, presenting the number 4 ranked heavyweight contender in the world, and the former UFC heavyweight champion, the challenger, Junior Dos Santos. And now introducing the champion, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 16 wins, 2 losses. He stands 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighing in at 246 pounds. Fighting out of Independence, Ohio, presenting the reigning, defending, undisputed UFC heavyweight champion of the world, Stipe Miocic.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. We're going to keep it clean. Touch gloves, let's do this.
They will run it back in a matter of moments. Stipe Miocic said that fight with Dos Santos in December of 2014, far and away the toughest of his career. We'll see how it plays out tonight.
Ready, let's do it.
Miocic in the black and gold, befitting a champion. Junior Dos Santos is in what?
The real question is who has improved more. I believe that Stipe has definitely improved since the Dos Santos fight. I think he went to the next level afterwards. But if I look at Dos Santos in the Ben Rothwell fight, he looked as good as he's ever looked.
He looked like a different man. Everything about Junior looked better in that last fight as opposed to the fight against Alistair Overeem.
He looked as fast as ever, very patient.
And a lot of that could also be attributed to his move to American Top Team. I think that's a big factor in this fight.
This is a big key for Junior, not being against the side of the octagon. He puts himself in danger there. He takes damage when he gets too close to the fence.
Nice leg kick by Junior.
That's two, very low. Same kick that Jedrzejczyk is throwing. That's that same low kick Jedrzejczyk is throwing.
Stipe's throwing some hammers here.
Yep. A couple right hands have landed early for the champion, who now presses forward.
But I mean, after only two kicks, you can see Stipe already kind of walking gingerly on that leg.
Yeah, there's a little limping going on. Yep, he's having a hard time with that left hand. It's
already.
giving out on him.
Yep. And now look at how square he is. He's got to be careful there.
Look how much it's swelling up.
Already. Two kicks.
So that's Junior learning to mix things in. I mean, for the longest time, he rarely threw kicks.
Oh, Miocic found a home for that left hand. Dos Santos circles out.
The issue with that kick, as effective as it is, one gets checked, you have the Anderson Silva situation.
Yep. There's another one.
Looks like a shin guard, though, the swelling on the front of that left calf.
Oh, he tagged him. He tagged him twice.
Stipe's doing a good job of just getting after him now, knowing that he's taking that damage to the leg.
And exactly what you were saying about Junior putting his back to the cage.
Yep. He takes damage when he does that. I don't understand why he still does that.
Oh!
It's over.
Down goes Dos Santos!
That's it. Fight's over.
Stipe looking at Herb Dean to stop it, and he will! Stipe Miocic retains his UFC heavyweight title! No judges needed this time around! The path to the UFC heavyweight title still goes through Cleveland, Ohio!
Wow. And you see him limping on that leg, man. That thing is jacked.
Joe, he knew that taking those kicks, he didn't have much time. He had to go after it, and he did it. He set traps and he knocked him out. He said, I'm better than the first time, and he showed it in one round.
He really did prove it.
Well, we said JDS had a chance to cement his legacy as one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. Stipe slowly but surely creeping into that conversation. He has tied the record for successful heavyweight title defenses as he limps back to his corner.
His shin is a mess. I mean, it almost looks like it's broken.
Let's get to the fight replay, brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you.
Boom, that right hand. And again, exactly what DC was saying. Junior kept putting his back up to the cage, and Stipe was just catching him as he was moving away. He was very vulnerable every time he did that.
Every time you saw Stipe just let his hands go because he knew Junior would be there to be hit. And Miocic, I like the urgency because he recognized that those kicks were taking a toll on him. He was barely able to stand, so he said, you know what, I'm going to get him out of here. I'm not taking a chance at not being able to stand a little later in the fight. I'll get it done right now.
Stipe Miocic exacts his revenge. How about the reaction from the Strong Style Fight Team, Marcus Marinelli and the rest? What a moment for the Ohio native, the Croatian-American Stipe Miocic. There may not be a more confident fighter on the planet at present. The official decision is brought to you by Metro PCS, who brings you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide 4G LTE network. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 22 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by TKO and still the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion of the world, Stipe Miocic.
Mom, I love you. Happy Mother's Day. You're the best
I'm here with the winner and still champion, Stipe Miocic. First of all, Stipe, tell us about your shin. You got caught.
That was terrible. It hurt. Finally, the one time I checked it. I know I hurt his foot the one time, but it was a good game plan right away. But as I started checking, it felt better.
It seemed like it was hampering your movement early in the fight.
I mean, the fight didn't really go that long, so I don't know how much was really hampering it a little bit.
That is true. Let's take a look at the finish. Take a look at the big screen. And you caught him with a couple of good shots. You had him on the run and then timed him as he was moving away with this picture-perfect right hand.
Yeah, we've been working on that for 10 weeks. We worked down the back room. My coach is the best in the world. That's the reason I'm the champ. It's because those and then we're at the gym, and God bless them. Dallas, thank you. You guys are amazing. Love this city. I love this city. It's badass.
Stipe, this fight seemed not just a defense of your title, but an opportunity to show how much you improved from your first fight with Junior Dos Santos.
You think I did?
Absolutely.
Well, I think I did.
I think you're the best in the world.
I am the best in the world.
You're the heavyweight champ.
Boom!
That's it. No one can say anything else. Who's next for you?
Right now, it's my kitchen. I have to remodel my kitchen when I get home, so that's all I'm worried about right now.
Blue collar to the day you die. All right, congratulations, sir. Another spectacular victory. The heavyweight champion of the world, ladies and gentlemen.
It's your mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, mothers.
Stipe Miocic.
That post-fight interview brought to you by Alien Covenant from 20th Century Fox. Director Ridley Scott returns to the Alien franchise with his most terrifying creation ever. Alien Covenant, experience the fear in IMAX May 19th. Stipe Miocic, a terrifying creation in his own right, carving out quite the heavyweight legacy, 17-2. He is 11-2 inside the octagon. What a night of UFC action it has been here in Dallas, Texas tonight. UFC 211 Miocic versus Dos Santos 2 has been brought to you by Harley Davidson. See your dealer today and learn to ride like some of your favorite UFC fighters with Harley Davidson Riding Academy. Live your legend. And by Kingdom. Don't miss the series premiere of the critically acclaimed MMA drama on Audience May 31st at 8 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. Another finish from Max Holloway.
Just absolutely incredible. 10-fight win streak for that young man.
This might take you to Jose Waldo. Let me know when you guys find him. I'll be waiting.
Careful there, young man.
Jose Aldo is a beast. This is a new stage of Max Holloway.
Holloway looks fantastic.
Jose Aldo, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters on the planet.
I'm proud to fight here in my hometown.
A showcase of two of the best fighters at 205 in the world today. Gustafsson looking for the finish.
That's why they call him the Mauler.
Teixeira all over him.
That guy is an animal.
Stockholm is my home. I will knock him out for all my fans.
I know the power that I have in my hands, and I'm gonna knock him out.
Good Lord, what a good fight this is.
So we will be off next weekend. Good news is then it's 4 consecutive live events beginning on May 28th, Stockholm, Sweden. DC will certainly be watching as former title challengers Alexander Gustafsson and Glover Teixeira share the marquee. Another big one at 205 in the co-main event. Volkan Oezdemir, number 5 in the world, taking on the Canadian Misha Serkunov. Special Sunday show for the MMA leader, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. That is live on FS1. Tonight, though, belongs to the two champions. You know, the last time we were in this building, we crowned 2 new champions. Tonight, the champs keep their belts. Stipe Miocic with a huge effort tonight to turn back JDS.
Well, I think it's clear what we were talking about after the fight, that Miocic is a different fighter. He has evolved. He's clearly the best heavyweight in the world now, and he really, truly showed it tonight. My question to you, DC, and this is something we talked about, how much do you think Junior Dos Santos' wars with Cain Velasquez took out of him?
And Stipe Miocic.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about this before the broadcast. We said, can Junior still take the damage that he took in the first fight? Because he took a lot of clean punches. The answer is no. Stipe Miocic trapped him. You know, Junior played that game his entire career where he runs around the side of the fence, taking punches. Stipe clipped him, finished him. Man, we cannot spend too much time talking about what Junior did wrong, because Stipe Miocic is the reason he was out in there in the round. This guy's the best heavyweight in the world, man. He's gaining confidence every time he goes in there with these dangerous heavyweights too.
And he also realized that he was in danger because of that shin injury, and he had to take out Junior Dos Santos early. His movement was hampered. You clearly saw at the end of the round he was wobbling around. He could barely walk. His shin has a huge hematoma on it. And who knows? I mean, it could be cracked. You really don't know. But he was still able to generate enough power to take Junior Dos Santos out. And it makes you wonder who's next for him. And let's look at this heavyweight rankings list here. Obviously, Cain Velasquez is the guy that we want to see back in there, but you can speak to that.
You know, when I look at these rankings, the heavyweight division is as good as it's been for a long time. But for me, skill for skill, Verdum has already gotten beat by Stipe. Right. Cain Velasquez versus Stipe Miocic is the fight that needs to happen. Man, Cain Velasquez may be the greatest heavyweight fighter in UFC history, and Stipe Miocic is now starting to get in that same discussion. Cain looked phenomenal against Travis Brown and was scheduled to fight for the belt, but an injury backed him off. That is the best fight this division. That may be the best fight the entire UFC can make. I understand Diaz-McGregor 3. I understand Jones-Cormier 2. But the baddest man on the planet, between the two best heavyweights we've ever seen, unreal. Velasquez versus Miocic.
And then there's the dark horse, Francis Ngannou, who scares the life out of me. Wow. I don't even like interviewing that guy. I get nervous.
Well, now he moved to Las Vegas, as you well know, to try to take his career to the next level. So the Predator very much in the mix.
Bad man. And one of the most terrifying strikers the UFC's heavyweight division has ever seen. He's an athletic freak. He's super powerful. He's disciplined. His technique is outstanding. And he gets better each and every time. And he can submit people. And he gets better each and every time you see him in the octagon. I mean, the kind of thunderous power that this young man possesses. And he's built like a superstar athlete.
Hey,
I mean, he's got it all.
Joe, there's something to be said about knocking out Anthony Hamilton, no disrespect. But when you do what you do to Andrei Arlovski in a round, now it's time to take you serious. Yeah. I told Dana before the fight, I said, Dana, he was scary enough with dreadlocks. Did that son of a gun have to go and put lightning bolts in his hair? Yellow lightning bolts. He went, I mean, do you need to be scary of Francis?
Well, hey,
yellow lightning bolts, John.
I got good news for you. They're telling me he pushed out an ominous tweet today saying there might be something special going down at UFC 214.
I don't mind that.
Let's get Ngannou pushing that pay-per-view needle.
Come on, people want to see Ngannou. They want to see Jones DC2. Where my money at? Where my money at, Joe? Show me the money.
Someone gets a piece of pay-per-view
Show
sales.
me the money.
I smell it.
And if you are wondering, Alistair Overeem, Fabricio Verdum set to complete their trilogy at UFC 213, so at least as yet, they're not necessarily.
But you know, and the issue with that is they both just fought Stipe.
Right.
Those are the two defenses.
Right.
Are the win and one of the defenses.
Well, someone's got to get back on top. I mean, you have to have a clear contender right now. And other than Cain, you don't have a clear contender. And Cain obviously is still recovering from this injury, so we're going to have to wait. Let's wait and see how that happens. But that's the fight I want to see. I want to see a healthy Cain Velasquez versus Stipe Miocic. I think that's what the heavyweight division really needs.
Well, we really needed this pay-per-view tonight. This fight card so anticipated by the MMA masses, and thanks to the fighters for coming up large tonight in Big D. Here's what's coming up inside the octagon. In 2 weeks, it's FS1 UFC Fight Night, Gustafsson versus Teixeira from Stockholm, Sweden, as the Mauler, Alexander Gustafsson, welcomes Glover Teixeira to his backyard in the main event. It's a special Sunday afternoon affair, May 28th at 1 p.m. Eastern on FS1. 1 week later, the UFC returns to pay-per-view for UFC 212 from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Topping the marquee is a featherweight title unification bout between Jose Aldo and Max Holloway. Main card begins at 10 in the East, 7 in the West, only on pay-per-view. Then the following week, Saturday, June 10th, heavyweight knockout threats square off in Auckland, New Zealand, when the Black Beast, Derek Lewis, battles Mark Hunt. The 6-fight main card begins at 10 p.m. Eastern on FS1. And just 7 days later, the Octagon heads to Singapore as Holly Holm looks to begin her quest back to the top against the hard-hitting Brazilian, Betch Correia. Main card gets going at 8 a.m. Eastern, only on UFC Fight Pass. You can watch the UFC 211 post-fight press conference at UFC.com. The UFC 211 post-fight show with Karen Bryant, Brian Stan, Tyron Woodley, and Megan O'Leary is already underway on FS1. For those watching in Canada, you can flip it over to TSN as soon as we're done. What a night in Dallas, Texas. The executive producers of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC President Dana White, Ari Emanuel, and Patrick Weitzel. Our Executive Vice President of Operations and Production is Craig Borsari. Our coordinating producer is Zach Candido. Tonight's show has been produced by Bruce Connell and directed by Anthony Pasquale Giordano. A happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, including our longtime AD April Alford, hanging out back there in the truck. What a night it was here at UFC 211. Gamebred Masvidal once again on the wrong side of a split decision. Damian Maia with 7 straight wins will be next for the UFC welterweight champion, Tyron Woodley. That, of course, set the stage for our co-headliner, Jessica Andrade. Nothing if not game, but once again, the Polish superstar, Joanna Jedrzejczyk, proving too much for seemingly all comers at 115 pounds. 5 successful defenses for the Polish champion, Joanna Jedrzejczyk. So that one went the full 25. The UFC Heavyweight Championship did not. Stipe Miocic, a man on a mission tonight. And in the first round, he got rid of Junior Dos Santos. With that, for Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier, I'm John Anik. So long from Dallas. We will see you next month in Rio de Janeiro.